Sons of the sun. This will be one of those times we celebrate your enzymes, feel it all the way down to your atoms, to places not yet fathomed. When life rolls up and gives you a shove, always keep your heads above, yo.
You'll be quitting away bullshit.
It's always being authentic in the work counterfeit saying it's who within when you start to transmit. Sun's slanging your noses, so come on and take a hit.
You'll be quitting away bullshit.
It's always being authentic in the work counterfeit saying it's who within when you start to transmit. Sun's slanging your noses, so come on and take a hit.
Not being you, it's after my analysis called stagnation. Now your nerves got paralysis. Foundations built without chemical dialysis. Hermetic mind practices, removing the imbalances. Fly to the sky, right and lake it in the red eye. Staying authentic keeps us on the heads high. From the ego, we don't need that thing to get by. Sons of the sun, true fifth dimension jealous. Trying to crack this, you better go practice. You straight up actors, flipped up or backwards. Just say a butter from the cactus. One way to hack this construct of space time, yo, it's straight fucking whackness. When it comes to the shit show, we don't get entangled. People claiming that they're real, then the real, they just Mojango. Uncle thoughts gave us dosage on the dwellers and the angles, and be mindful of thoughts, cause the things will leave you strangled.
You'll be quitting away bullshit.
It's always being authentic in the work counterfeit saying it's who within when you start to transmit. Sun's slanging your noses, so come on and take a hit.
You'll be quitting away bullshit.
It's always being authentic in the work counterfeit saying it's who within when you start to transmit. Sun's slanging your noses, so come on and take a hit. Yo, Brian.
What up?
Time to pass that split. KG, Frankie, FearLess. My turn to take a hit. Yo,
Blast
it's a battle beyond the stars, but only on the inside. With infinite bars and lines line the skies. Known through the breath as we march on, we ride. Stay high, the sound we emit affects your third eye. Corduroy to side-eye, our enemies they try. We're born into the space that we shift by design. Dark to light, I better get this right. As we survive through dimensions where thoughts can die. In the darkest night, signs my thoughts still live. Give me the evil eye, yo, bound to poke that shit. Give me a pound of weed, homie, I'ma smoke that spliff. Professor hit me with the jam and I'ma tote that riff.
Coming up,
Worldwide conspiracy that attracts the facts. How much more motivation do you need than that? It's a war on all levels, play chess against devils. I'm built for conflict against counterfeit rebels.
You'll be quitting away bullshit.
It's always being authentic in the work of counterfeit saying it's who within when we start to transmit. Sun's slanging your noses, so come on and take a hit.
You'll be quitting away bullshit.
It's always being authentic in the work of counterfeit saying it's who within when we start to transmit. Sun's slanging your noses, so come on and take a hit.
You'll be quitting away bullshit.
It's always being authentic in the work of counterfeit saying it's who within when we start to transmit. Sun's slanging your noses, so come on and take a hit.
You'll be quitting away bullshit.
It's always being authentic in the work of counterfeit saying it's who within when we start to transmit. Sun's slanging your noses, so come on and take a hit.
and there you have it. Exactly how that have it.
You'll be quitting away bullshit.
So come on and take it in. Sons, fresh to death.
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Bodily bathing in now chemical donors, how we do it on the regular with no hocus pocus. Best to step aside when we continue with the sober, staying humble while we glide and also staying laser focused. Aware low vibes are the ones that move slowly. Have to beat them back with a little thing of focus. On the hero journey, even if you didn't notice, I observe it all unfolding like the petals from the lotus of spine. From the divine, releasing nothing but pure fire. Pure design and the nurses that's real. That's the deal, the appeal away. We can still get high. Mention frequent clouds and give you something to feed. So we slap this in your face that you try and chase. But our fumes leave clues that leave rockers down the place, giving you what you need. With no shitty aftertaste, just learn and discern to elevate your inner state. Yeah, ultra high frequency, spiritual kung fu. See that you're everybody and everybody is you. When it all goes down, can you stand and be true?
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Ultra high frequency, spiritual kung fu. See that you're everybody and everybody is you. Sons break through, no need for fake.
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
It's another rising sun, will dive in. Come on, get on, get on.
I come through and smash your television sets to pieces. Turn up the music, chant a mantra till its bell releases. The transmission ceases, now we can create. We blazing up and raising up into a higher state. We all can relate, we've all been affected. Tricked into praising material with the soul neglected. We came to break the cycle, we came to break the mold. We came to make you aware of the power you behold. The light emanating from one spirit, brighten up the whole collective, no need to be near it. One voice so loud, everybody hears it. Spooky action at a distance, we're connected and they fear it. So buckle up and prepare for the ride. It's suns and sun, two worlds collide. Break out your prison, there's a world outside. Go out and dance in the dirt and get your mind outside.
Ultra high frequency, spiritual kung fu. See that you're everybody and everybody is you. When it all goes down, can you stand and be true?
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Ultra high frequency, spiritual kung fu. See that you're everybody and everybody is you. Suns break through, no need for fake.
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Separated timelines, collapse the skylines. Fearless tribes arrive in the nick of time to lift your mind. Now step inside. Today's lesson we learn to read in between the lines. These minds by design, mental flip. We keep our frequency high, then we find the dip. We got that mental material, magic that manifests. Make leaps through the matrix, codename acrobats. So fuck your 9 to 5. It's dark to light. This time it's sunrise and midnight. Sons of the sun veil fresh to death. Rhymes that get you high, then continue to fly. The music, the news, the mic, the sample. Powerful set of MCs you can't cancel. The king, the warrior, the wizard, the sage. Cycles that constantly spin till they break.
Ultra high frequency, spiritual kung fu. See that you're everybody and everybody is you. When it all goes down, can you stand and be true?
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Ultra high frequency, spiritual kung fu. See that you're everybody and everybody is you. Suns break through, no need for fake.
Mess around, rock around, I beat that ass with my shoe.
Yeah, SOS, that's right. Sons of the sun, Stunfell.
Fresh to death.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. In the darkest of nights, gonna let my light shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. I'm becoming fearless. What is up, everyone? It's your main man, Frank Castle, your sorcerer supreme. And this is Fearless. Happy Sunday. Let me know if you can hear me nice and clear, because tonight we're going to deep dive like I haven't in a while. I want to say thank you to everyone who's here. Shout outs to the Fearless family. And shout outs to Lola Kitten.
Excellent. What is up, everyone? How's everybody in the chat doing? It's good to see you. I was going to take a moment or two because I know it's a little late tonight, but it is what it is. It's got to be what it's got to be. I wanted to go earlier, but I had other things occurring ever since. All right, so a few things from last we spoke. So if you would have jumped in on Bitcoin, right, when I shouted about it last time, I think it was at $24,000, right? I think for like the last two shows, I said something real quick about it. It's, oh, you should get into Bitcoin. Now, I've been shouting about this for years, from when it was $800 all the way up to 69, all the way back down to 21 or something. If you would have bought in the other day, the last time we spoke, like we did a show, I think today it's 30. I don't know what it is actually, 38, 37. So it jumped like 15%. I'm just going to take a quick look while I'm badgering and just to let it out. It's 36, 860, 55. All right. So from 24 to 36. There we go. What's up, Lexi? Weapon X5 is in the group too. You got to check out his show, Terror Tuesdays. He reads you some horror shows. It's really nice. I'm into that stuff now. Brian Scott read a book. I don't have any of this information off the top of my head, but I listened to it last night. The whole book. It was like 7 hours, and I just put my earphones in and going about my business. Then I passed out and woke up. He was still going, and I felt like I was still in the story. All right, so Bitcoin was up. Ethereum's up. The two coins I said I would only talk about are the only ones really. You're going to get a blast off of all coins, and then I'll fall off of most coins. Excuse me, I got to stay on topic. It's very dry in here. We have no heat because they're working on the top 2 floors of the house, so we still don't have heat. We're probably not going to until the end of December. So we got to keep the oven on with pots of water on it. And then we have a space heater, but they jacked the fucking rent so high. And then there's no heat. And then they're like, oh, we got you a space heater, which was really nice. It was really nice of them. But I pay for electricity. Heat's included. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a rough kickoff, but everything's been good. So we're blessed. There'll be a couple more, Lex. There'll be a couple more. See, what's going to happen is just like everything else, right? My dude, I love you. You're my brother. Shout outs. So a lot of coins are going to take, because you're going to need different coins for different things. Some are going to be coins for storage, long-term, short-term. People are not going to want to sell their Bitcoin. They're going to usually leverage against it, which is great. You know, the banking system is going to collapse and corrode. And you're going to have other companies like, yo, check it out. You could get a loan from us with your Bitcoin, on your Bitcoin, right? Say you had one Bitcoin, it was like 37,000. And you wanted a loan out against it. You'll take the Bitcoin and they could stake it for you, right? While you're waiting. And then you can pay off the loan making like 7% a year on your staking on Bitcoin, because it goes up. So as it's becoming more scarce and it's going up, you're like, bro, I gotta, it's only whatever, 7%. I'm like, yeah, let's just say you're getting 7%. And then on staking, but Bitcoin goes up. So whatever that would be, let's just say it's a couple $100, right? So if it's like $300, you don't know if Bitcoin's going to jump in that year, right? So say it just blasts off, and it's done this before, right? Last year, not last year, the last major jump from this number went from like 35 to, I want to say, to like 47. It was crazy. And it was like in 12 hours, right? Remember, you can pull out at any time. It doesn't matter, but you're not going to want to because it's scarcity. You're not getting the big picture if you're thinking, I need 1 Bitcoin. If you can do that, that's great. But really what you need is just a fraction of it. So they were going over fractions of it again because now the halving's coming. And then, over 100 years, the last couple of million, because there's only 21 million, come out, right? So there's not that much. There's like 2 million on the exchanges, and then they're waiting for spot ETFs and all this stuff so they could start, the corporations could buy in. But when the corporation's like, yo, I'm going to buy against Frank, I'm like, you're going to buy against me because you want to take it all. Well, you're not allowed to take it all, right? You're only allowed to have 900 a day, best I can do, until the halving. And then it's, God, if my numbers are right, 450. So you get 900 a day, and then when the halving comes, we'll do like 450, around that. And then when the halving comes again, it's like 150 or whatever. Then I'm not doing the math properly, but it's right there. I'm right in the range. But the number in your Bitcoin account, right? Well, and you're like, but I only have $100 in Bitcoin. If it's scarce and no one can get it, that 100's 1,000. The 1,000 is going to flip, become 2,000. 2,000 is going to go to 4,000. 4,000 goes to 8,000. You got to see how it's running. So to do this test, someone sent me money on Cash App. Shout outs to my man. You know who you are, right? So over the course of like 2 years, it was only like $37, right? I didn't have Cash App. But my man's like, yo, you got money in your Cash App. So I opened it up and I'm like, wow. You just get the Cash App. Follow along with me because I'm going to teach you the spiritual marker of wealth tonight with this. Because I'm learning this too. Like I've been just hoodling the whole time. I bought early in the beginning, all the way up, all the way down, and then now I'm broke. And I'm just living my life now. I'm like, I can't do anything but live. I got a lot of things going on. And that's my future. So I wouldn't invest in anything cheap and crappy and then tell you, because this isn't financial advice. The meek inherits the earth. This is how easy it is. All right. Now I'm arguing with Coinbase now because I took everything off Coinbase, took everything off everything. I have all my private stuff separated and private. Because they want me to sign in to my bank using a third-party app that then has my bank passwords and that secure the transition, but then they have my literal password at the bank. And there's nothing I could do. Like they would have full. So I'm like, no, I'm obviously not going to do this. This is a ridiculous way to have to do this. I was already hooked up with you. Everything was fine. Then all of a sudden you disconnected my account and said this. Well, I had no money up there, so it didn't matter. Other companies don't do that. So Cash App, I open it up and it just says Bitcoin right there in the corner. And I said to Paula, I'm going to take $33 of it and buy Bitcoin. And it cost me 70 cents. So it was like 0.000295 whatever. It was like, it's a fraction. It's a little next to nothing. It cost me 70 cents. I'm going to leave that there. And then I'm going to check it against everyone every time I go live. And I'll say, this is what I have from the $33. just to show you guys, like, look, it's going to grow and it's going to go fast. And in the next few years, you're not going to be able to get it because people are going to take it and they're going to store it like digital gold. Then they're going to loan against it. And then they're going to stake it in the loan agreement. So you're staking $30,000 worth of it and you're getting 7% on it on staking it. So just keeping it there, you're earning Bitcoin on your Bitcoin, right? Or maybe you get paid in another coin, right? All you have to do is pay off a loan. So the value is all still there with the other kind of coins, right? Because as Bitcoin goes up, they're going to regulate a coin. They're going to regulate one. There's no way, if this world is splitting into two worlds, you're not going to have a regulatory. Something like the SWIFT system for payments across the board. And you could choose to send it a la Bitcoin or take it as Bitcoin, send it over as XRP, and then you can go buy Bitcoin with it. There's a million ways, or I'll accept it and then transfer it right into Bitcoin. I don't know how people want to do it because everyone's like, yo, I'll just hide my transactions and do what I got. You get Bitcoin, you take it offline and you put it on a cold wallet, right? That's stored. It's stored in the ether, the digital space, the ether. It's not in anything that anyone can get, but you'll have a device that you can just plug in, put in your passcode, and then it brings it to you, right? So you could just do that. No one will find you. If I disappeared right now, right, and went to like El Salvador, where they're just Bitcoins, their dollar, right? You would never know anything. Like, I'm gone. See you. I'm off the map. Bitcoin goes to $1 million. You'll never see me again. You'd never find me. And I could be doing transactions all day. You'll be looking for it. Like, where is this guy? It's like, as long as they're accepting Bitcoin as a value point in the place, I could just disappear into that mix because it's really none of your fucking business. That's really what this comes down to. We're tired of people being in our business. Now, outside of just the logical stuff, you're my fearless family. I would never steer any of you wrong, and I never did. I even walked away from a radio station that was totally faulty. I could have stayed and made money and did all this crazy stuff. Nope, I'm out. So I wouldn't steer you wrong. I've been with it long enough now. I would not say I'm an expert by any means, but I will say my future is secure by all means. How's that? And I have to prove it, right? So didn't we say, I told you from the beginning, I'm one of the many people on this planet that is to be the example, which means and I choose to not sell a book, but tell my story, the old style, just tell it. Storytelling in its finest form. I put all of my energy and the frequency into the music that gives you the same information. If you just listen to the music, you'd be like, he talks about the same stuff in the music, and he just makes it cool. So it bounces and we can sing hooks and stuff. Oh, so basically he does mantras. and songs are still like $2 or $1.15 or something. And all you actually have to do is just listen to it and click like if you like it. You can click dislike if you don't like it. Right? What did Vince McMahon say? It's when they don't talk about you at all. That's when there's a problem. Well, the algorithm feels that way as well. Anyway, so back to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is your way, freedom back out of the system. Gold and silver, yeah, that too. However, Bitcoin's going to outperform it. Try to take your mind. I don't know how old anyone here is. I'm not looking over here. Shout outs to Dawn. Love you. So we go back to, like, I don't know how old anyone is, right? But I'm 49. I remember, like, before Sprint. Think about, go back a little bit in your timeline, right? Like, if you're a guy and you have to do it with video game consoles, go back to the furthest one you can go back to. Now, once you go back far enough, what are you investing in? Right? Because it was basically gold, silver, stock market, bonds. What are you investing in? Okay, go. I'm going to look at the chat. So this is what goes on. you're like, oh, Ma Bell is turning into Sprint or whatever, and then you're like, oh, I'll buy a couple of thousand shares for pennies on the dollar. And then these today are, the big systems, before Motorola, and people are like, huh? I'm like, yo, before anything, any product, we're way before Mac, before computers. I remember I graduated college and I still didn't have an email. That was just kind of coming around. Like, it's just crazy, right? Trust fund. Yeah. All right. So my grandparents were able to get in, and I used to hear them talk, but they would never talk money to me. They would just tell me, get a job. So I heard them a bunch of times. My Uncle Jimmy would come over and talk stocks and tips and this and that. So I listened to them. Never said anything. Just kind of zoned in. One time in school, they gave us I was in high school at St. Raymond's. I was a senior. They gave me and Claudio, a friend of mine, I was going to say his last name. I was like, just remembered it. I don't want to shout him out like that. They gave us a fake 100,000 and they said, okay, we're giving certain seniors throughout the United States a fake amount of money of 100,000. And we want you to invest in the stock market and we want to see what happens with you. I was like, I don't want nothing to do with this. I was like, I'm getting out of here. I hate this place. They were like, nah, you're on the list of like people eligible for this. So you're in no matter what. So we're partnering people up so you could have 2 people in a group up to 4. Hey, it's freezing out. There's a lot of cold cats in here. Hey, get out. We're not doing that. I hate it when they fight. So they gave this money to us. They gave us newspaper, the ability to take like an hour a day to go over stuff. They were like, you could talk to the teachers, you could talk to this. I was like, man, I'm not talking to any of you. I go, Claudio, come over here. What do you love? He goes, hey, Frankie, man. He was from Uruguay. I love car radios, stereos, man. I love bass. Bump, 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 that bass. And he would scream it. He would scream. It was a big Guido. I was like, okay, you're going to look up all the companies. Oh, I know all the companies. What do you mean you know all the companies? I know every company that puts out the top of the line thing that I love. I'm like, you do? He's like, yeah, man, don't you? I'm like, as a matter of fact, I've been sitting here thinking about it, and I do. I love certain action figures, right? And at the time, it was I think it was Mattel. Mattel was there. Nintendo was there. And a couple of other things. So I was coming from a toy perspective and a collector perspective. The comic books were kind of down at the time. It was killed by the Death of Superman nonsense, where they overprinted everything after that. So nothing is worth anything anymore. So we drop our stuff in. We're allowed to pick like 4 things each. In the first week, we were in 3rd place. First week. Then we were in 1st place the whole time. People were like trying to get teams of people to beat us. Just me and this kid. And I was like, and I really put a lot of thought into this. I'm like, man, dude, we just said, I said, what do you love? What works, man? What do you hate? Right? That's not what that. Okay, get rid of that. We don't want to even talk about that. I want to talk about what you love, what works, why it works, what's the convenience of this stuff, right? And we went full tard. We ended in 3rd place, though. However, we did fall off in the end. We didn't care. We had so much pretend money that we came in with fake money and with throwing it at the dean. The dean was like, "You're in the newspaper again," and I was like, "Hey, look at this." Right, just throwing it at him, going there. We made millions of dollars for this whatever this was for. And if I would have just had that money, so it was 100,000 split, so it was 50,000. Okay, when do you get that? This was my point. So I won with fake stuff in the real world, but it was fake against the entire United States with a kid from Uruguay who, that Uruguay for people that pronounce it. Oh, I got yelled at so many times. It's Uruguay, man. He came over. He was here like 6 years. He's actually loaded rich right now. I'm more rich and filled in this home than I ever been anywhere since I'm 7 years old. So I'm rich as well. And my point is I'm getting the opportunity again. And I'm like, when can I get in on this? Well, I got in at 800, but I didn't press the button at 800. And I told the story over and over and over again. I was like, I'm scared to spend $800 for a Bitcoin. My buddy's been telling me when they were less than $1, you got to get in on this. And I was like, yeah, no, I would have been already a billion zillionaire. I don't even know the numbers because I'm that type of person where I would have zipped in all that at the early price, but it wasn't set up the way it is now. So you could send cash on Cash App to someone. So if you're already set up, you're telling me you could just buy Bitcoin. That's it. Now you have an address. Then you get your device or your wallet, as it's called, right? The hard wallet and the cold wallet are ones on the computer, and then it's still stored in the ether, so it can't be hacked out. And then there's like ledgers and treasures, and there's a couple of other newer ones. I'm not up on the newer ones because I have all the older ones, but the older ones still work absolutely perfect. You could rob me and you wouldn't get anything. You would need like 4 layers of verification of the craziest stuff. And most of the time, the person usually either has that here or has that somewhere completely else. So you could throw that out, or someone could take it and run off, and you could just go get another one and plug it in and put your code in. And you'd have to have your seed phrase, your passcode, and there's a couple of other little in-betweens you got to do. But it's totally reliable. And to test it, I tested all of it across the board with $1 worth of Bitcoin back when. So I made sure it all worked over and over and over and over. I'm like, man, this shit is easy. But I didn't press the button at 800. Paula came in. It was like 3 days fucking later. 3 days. And she's like, did you buy it? Did you do it? And I was like, no, I didn't do it. I was really scared. You were sleeping. I felt kind of weird. Man, it's $800, man. I only had my job fired me. Everyone let me go. I'm still fighting workman's comp, but they pay me out 30,000. So I got to pay doctors. There was like this trifecta thing that occurred with that money where it left me with like 12,500. And I was like, that's all you have forever until your workman's comp thing works. I'm still fighting them. It's 10 years later. So obviously $12,000 gets you nothing. And I said, I'm going to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and silver. And I raged in at 1,200 while Paula was standing over me going, push the button. If you don't push the button, I'm going to push your button. Push the button. Push the button. Push. I was like, man, that's a lot of money. But man, 1,200 is a lot different than 800. This sucks. I want it back at 800. It never was at 800 again. I'm going to tell you right now, it was never that price again. So at 1,200, I bought in, but I also bought in at 69,000. So my family's so confident in this, right, that family members took their retirement out because they're not making anything on it. They make a 1%. It's like bought in at like $60,000 of Bitcoin. It hit 69. Everybody's trying to make fast money. It went all the way down to 20. So they're like, yo, all of my retirement's in Bitcoin. I'm like, how many years you got to retire? A couple years. Don't worry. all the people that figured it out and didn't touch it, they're all going to be beyond fucking so rich. You have no idea. Their whole retirement is in it. It's not crashing. It's not going backwards. It's going straight up. And because of what's happening now, everyone's in on it. They're literally at the bank stopping people and saying, if you buy and connect your stuff to the bank, we're going to just shut all your accounts down, write you a check for all your money. You just go to another bank. We don't even care. Right? So it's like, oh, what's going on? Okay. So now we go to my grandparents. So I made money for fake money from my school. My grandparents, they were in on the stock market when these things before the cell phone, guys, it was like just telephone company A, B, or C. You know what I'm saying? Which becomes Sprint and becomes Motorola, then becomes this, then becomes like they were in at that point, and they just dumped their funds into it. The way I'm talking about Bitcoin, it's like all I have is this, right? 12,000 is not going to buy me a house like it did for my grandfather, right? It's just none of this shit's going to work. I got no future. What's going to happen? I didn't take all 12 and put it in there. I wish I did. Now I wish I did, but I split it. I did Bitcoin, Ethereum, and silver. I just did 33'd it across the board, 33, 33, 33, and then bought in like that. And it's worthy. It was worthy. And then over time, more built up in all those sectors and directions. Not greedy. I at no time put in, I said, oh God, if I lose this. I started getting paid monthly from my job. They put me on retirement. So at least I was making money. So now I'm not counting on that. I'm making enough money to live. I'm doing things and and it's just enough to get by, because when you have two people doing it, I'm like, and I've never wanted to live like this my whole life. Like, what do you mean just getting by? And then I look over and everything's up, and it was like at 69,000 a few years ago. I was like, oh my gosh. Like it was at that point, and we were like ready to change our lives, but it was still too, even spiritually, DMT and ayahuasca, basically Mother Earth brought me in one of the experiences where it was a total learning about gold, silver, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Years ago. And she was like, yo, just try to sit in on this. So my experience was King Midas came right in here, and me and my man Sergio were sitting here, and he was from California. He was like, he's like, Frank, pull out your silver coin. You got your silver coin. I'm like, how do you know that he gave me a silver coin 2 hours ago? Not even. Well, we knew you were coming, and we could see the silver coin in your pocket. I'm like, you can? He's like, well, it's here. That's actually money here and where you are. So that coin, if you came here with me to my place, I'm like, who are you? And he was like, I'm the king, baby. And he was a big, fat, robust. It was almost like Santa Claus meets the Burger King. He was robust and fat, but he could move, and everything he touched was turned into gold. I was like, what are you doing in my house? Like, he was touching everything the way I do. Like, let me see every gold. I'm like, man, that's a cool trick. You know, show me how to do that. And he was like, sit down, I'm going to teach you all about it. I showed him the silver coin, and he touched it. We were both holding it. Sergio was like, yeah, because this guy looked like a spirit, like a cartooned. When I say like 12K super surround sound in the room with you, like you were in Roger Rabbit, but it was real. He touched it, and it lit up. Everything was lighting up, and he's like, "Silver, you got to understand it." And it's like, I've done this on the show. I've told these stories on the shows before, so I don't want to keep digging deeper into them. But now that I look back, it's like, So they were calling me Ethereum King. I didn't know what Ethereum was, but the guy in the room, Sergio, was telling me about Ethereum like a week ago. Oh, you should look into that, bro. You'd be awesome at it. And then they broke down what contracts were, smart contracts. And it's the greatest thing I ever heard at the time. It still is. I told Kevin, Mike, KG, Sons of the Sun, shout out, Sons of the Sun, yeah. We got a new song coming out, by the way, on Thanksgiving. Upper Hand, keep your eye out for it. It's awesome. So anyway, I bought into silver. It was like $18. So, all right, it's at 20 something now. I think it's maybe 27. I don't know, but all I see is coins on eBay and stuff, because all the big stores are on eBay. You could go right to them because they can't take credit cards directly at the store or PayPal on their site. But so they have all their stuff on eBay. So as long as it's a prime seller, you can do it, because I've done it with them, tested all the coins. They're all straight, but they're all way more than what I paid. So there's a secure foundation right there. Now, Ethereum has smart contracts. I was like, KG, do you know what this means for everyone? I gave my father this example the other day, and he's like, if you don't come to my house and get me Ethereum and Bitcoin, I'm going to kill you. So I was like, all right. But I told you this years ago, how this is going to work. So I'm in a music group, Sons of the Sun. You hire me to perform at one of your shows, right? So when people buy tickets to come to the show, so let's say it's $20 for the ticket, and the ticket gets split. Say there's 5 acts or whatever. I don't want to get too crazy, but we're gonna just say there's 2 acts. I'm opening the show for some famous guy, right? So me and Kevin are there. We're like, oh man, we're finally doing it. But every time I do a show, y'all make me wait till like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to pay me, or you cut me a check and send it to me in like a month. What is this nonsense? We got concessions, and we got, and I mean, everything from Coca-Colas and vending to T-shirts, hats, cups, mugs, autographs, whatever. I need a person there for all of this. I'm like just out of here. So if I had to hire that, I'd have to be making that. Ooh, this isn't going to work. Okay, well, we'll sign a smart contract. What? Okay, well, the smart contract states for everything scanned, every single thing that evening that gets scanned from anyone that scans anything, that buys anything anywhere here in the environment, starting from this time to the end, each item is automatically evaluated, right? So if a soda is $5 and I make 10 cents on it, for every time the cash register hits or the item is scanned, it goes right to my wallet. I don't see you. I don't need to see the vendor. When you sell a T-shirt that's mine and it's scanned, the money comes to me. I don't wait for the end of the night. I pick up my phone and look, and it's going off in real time. I don't have to talk to a contractor. I don't have to talk to the lawyer. I don't have to talk to you about shorting me. This motherfucker, he purposely didn't give us the money, which is what they all used to do. I did a show in Syracuse, New Jersey, and the owner that had to pay us that was there was flaming gay. I mean, Flamosaurus Rex. Hello, Frisco, that kind of shit. But it was a strip club that converts into a rock nightclub. and it was like you could do the strip club, and then there was like a bar on the other side where they don't bother you, and there was like a thing up, and they would pull the curtain back, and the girls could come walking out on stage later on at night. Well, we did that whole night, late night show. And he came in the bathroom, and I was like, yo, listen to me. I was outside the bathroom with him and the youngest kid in the heist at the time, who was the biggest kid there, which was really funny. I said, listen, man, I've been here 8 hours. I don't want to drink no more beer. I don't want wings. I don't want no titties. We don't care about the girls. Everyone is here has a girlfriend. Just pay us so we could leave, or I'm going to knock you it's going to go down. I'm going to just take what I want. Man, it's a couple $100. You're making thousands of dollars off of us. Right? And now it's really late. So I go into the bathroom, and there's 3 stalls. So my buddy Petro he leaves the middle one open and goes over. So now there's the 2 of us, and we're just looking at each other. And he's like, yo, man, I hate this part. It's like the hardest part, because it's like who's got muscle and who's going to overdo who and who's making somebody wait. I don't have a lawyer. Like, this is a big deal. Like, we're touring. I need this money to get into the next town and all this. The guy comes in the bathroom, and he's like, yo, face man. Oh, yo, face man. Mr. Face man. Gets in the middle, right? Whips it out, starts going to the bathroom, then just looks right into the... So that I'm like, yo, you're just going to look at it like that, right? And he's like, looks me right in the eye. He looks down again. He stops, finishes up. I finish. My buddy's ready to like hit him from behind, because he's a young kid that's gigantic. And he's like, yo, bro, he's trying to get us in the bathroom. I thought he was going to whip it out and be like, let's suck each other's dick. I can't have this in my life, Frank. Frank, I don't want no part of this part. I'm like, I don't want no part of this either. This is awkward. He goes, I saw him, bro. Motherfucker's peeking hard. So he just pulls out a roll of hundreds. And he's like, and then just hands me a fucking, like, a shitload of hundreds. I was like, it was like $1,000. So I was like, all right. I took it. And then he goes, bro, you looked at his dick. You're just going to fucking give him a couple of hundreds? What the fuck is wrong with you? So he goes, then he looks at my dick again, which is already put away. And then he goes and hands me 500 more. He's like, yeah, I love you guys. Have a great night. He's like, I don't want to go through that shit no more. He was so young, and he was like, these kids were 10 years younger than me, and my brother was 7. So we could never go anywhere because everyone was underage, but then we were the guys performing, holding down the whole night. And people would be like, wow, that was crazy. They're like, where's the other guys in the group? Oh yeah, they had to leave. The cops were actually waiting to see if we would do this. In Daytona, we crushed it. They brought the party across the street and then kicked out half the group. It said, you guys are underage. You can't be in the party. It's like, it's our party. What are you talking about? And then my security guy, who was actually my best friend pretending, was like, party's back at our place. And I was like, no, what are you doing? And all the girls that were dancing came back to there and attacked and did like a Royal Rumble in this giant apartment we were in. And then everyone got in trouble and got thrown out. It was the funniest night I've ever had. Because I grew up with these kids and they were young and they were so impressionable. Okay, so now those stories, funny. Getting in on Bitcoin now, Ethereum, smart contracts. You mean I would get paid across the board, contour, have all this set up in advance, and can make adjustments, by the way, on the fly, because through the smart contract, we can contact each other. So like if more people, say 200 more people show up at the event, that's more money. We said, if it goes over this amount, you got to pay that. Oh, it went over that amount. the fucking contract adjusts right there on the fly. I don't even have to sit there with you. As long as we discuss it and put it in the contract to begin with. So then things just start running smoothly. Coca-Cola gets their money. The stadium gets their money. I get my money. The DJ gets his money. The person working there, when they scan it, is getting their money. All right. So it's beautiful across the board in so many different ways. Then Bitcoin is like digital gold. I'm sorry about a 20-minute rant into all this craziness. I'll bring everything back around to what I really am going to talk about tonight. But I have to tell you about this because it's just, you want the new world or you want the new world order. It's one or the other. So if everything is going to be, oh, cashless society, that's not what I'm discussing here. I'm discussing decentralized platforms for us to, when they talked about the meek inheriting the earth, if everybody had like $100 in Bitcoin, you're part of the elite, because on this end, you're like, bro, it's $100. I'm like, right. On that end over there, people can't get it. Right. So the lady that was taking care of my grandmother, she's taking Ubers back and forth. It was so expensive. So she was loading her PayPal. And I said to her, we gave her some money for Christmas as a thank you. And then I said to her, yo, you be spending all that shit on Ubers to get back and forth. Yeah, but I don't want to call, motherfucker. So I was like, yeah, no doubt. However, if you just took 100 from all that money and threw that into Bitcoin, and then in the app, it allows you to transvert it over to cash if you want. And then you can pay Uber, not with Bitcoin, right? You could just cash out what you need and shoot it over into whatever app that you need to pay for. That was one of the things they were offering with PayPal. So I was like, you just drop 100 in there. Now they changed it. Now you can take it off the platform. I still don't trust them. But you can do that. So if you're going to do that, so now I don't know if she did it or not. I'm pretty sure she did a little bit, but people get nervous and they cash out of the whole thing. But the 100 turns into 200 and you're like, wow, that's crazy. And the 200 turns to 400 and you're like, that's crazy. The 400 jumps to 800 and you're like, this is nuts. I can't even believe this is happening. So what happens when something 100x's? What's 100x on 38,000? Do the math. One of you do the math and just laugh out loud and go, that can't be right. It's right. It's set up for people. So the system can't take you. That's it. You become the 1% of the planet. There's 21 million Bitcoin. A whole bunch of them have already been lost. They're never coming back. Big institutions are trying to buy into it, but there's a limit on what you're allowed to buy per day. Okay? So you could just be in the mix with like $25 a month. You'd be killing it. You'd be killing it because there's people that don't have none. So what happens when something goes 100x and then goes scarce? What happens when something goes 100x in 2 years and then 100x's again? Can you do that? Does that make sense? Well, if you can't get it, sure. You ever see what a baseball card is? When it first came out, you ever hear about how like a Mickey Mantle card? Oh man, this card's worth like $1 million. You can't get them. Well, it's a baseball card. It takes 10 cents to make that. Yeah, but it's rare. You can't get it. That's the thing. And it's in mint condition. So you have that on the future because that's going to be a source. So you can leverage that on all different ways. You can spend it. You can take your small amount, depending where you live, because there's criteria you might have to meet. You can stake you're a small amount. So where are you making 7%, 6%, 5%, 13% on anything? The answer is nowhere. So it's crypto. So you can just stay away from the shit coins and just stick with Bitcoin and Ethereum. If you put $30 in, you're getting 7%, right? Just saying, it's just sitting there. So, all right, you put 100 in, you got $107 at the end of the year. Who's giving you that? Now, as you start to build into that, it exponentially goes up as Bitcoin goes up, because we're just talking about $100 in Bitcoin. You have $100 in Bitcoin now, but it goes up. So it's 38 now, and then you wake up one day and it's completely doubled out at, it just doubles. And you're like, holy shit. So now your money doubles. Then it doubles again. And you go, oh, look how that works. Okay, well, you're getting 7% on that a year. If the numbers go up, your percentages go up. Everything's just going up. You just got to be able to hoodle. If you're a trader, that's on you. I don't trade. I just buy and hold. I don't even play around. I watched so many of my friends lose so many Bitcoins that you'd be like, well, what happened to those Bitcoins? Oh, they go back to the system and other people buy them. Yes. The golden lantern. Higher frequency in the house. This is what I'm saying right here, higher frequency. You'll be able to use it as collateral and you won't have to spend it. You'll just have it and then you'll have it staked. So we're not used to like making 7%, 6% on stuff, right? So you could make that and then yearly pay off the loan in the cash that you were that you needed. Say you were buying a house and you just wasn't getting Bitcoin. You had to do some finagling. You can have Bitcoin staked and paying back the loan, but as it's staked, Bitcoin's also going up. So the intake on your 7% is going up. So those numbers are just raising and raising. And then you cash out on that 7%. And you just cash out on cash what you need, slide it over, and then have everything go back into this. El Salvador was talking about their future. I know it sounds funny. El Salvador, their future. You can come here with $1,000 in Bitcoin and leave with $1,000, 700. So it's like you leave with more because it would be staked when you got there. It would be routing and doing all this kind of crazy stuff. And then yours would have commingled with the system and built more out of it. And you would be able to leave with yours. It's crazy because really what it only costs to go is this. And that's going to go up. I bought mushrooms from somebody once with $200 in Bitcoin. That kid bought a fucking car when it was 69,000. I think the 100 was like 17. Bitcoin was at 1,700. And I gave him $200 US worth of Bitcoin. You could do the transaction. I just sent it to his phone. He sent me a picture of the car when it was at the $60,000. He's like, yeah, I just went out and bought a car. The guy across the street bought a car too. His license plate says, thanks, Bitcoin. It's funny. Then you got your coins that are like an XRP coin that people love this fucking coin. But that's a system controlled coin. So it'll be like the SWIFT, like the dollar equivalent that you can pay the Russians, China, and every other country with in 1 second. So you could take your Bitcoins, you could buy a bunch of XRP with it, shoot the XRP over to whoever needs to get paid. You could do payrolls with it and all different kinds of cool stuff. However, it's centralized. So stuff's got to be worked out. like with Cardano, which is an ADA. And this is the last I'm going to say about anything crypto. I didn't realize I was going to go full 40-minute crypto conversation. But Cardano, which is ADA, that coin is really cheap, right? So Africa said, we want that coin. So the coin's on a blockchain. The blockchains contain nodes. Inside the nodes that create the chain, the interlocking chain, each linking in the chain, you get assigned one for life. It follows you. So if anything ever happens to you, somebody will know who you are. You'll always have access to all your information. There'll be no longer having to like call someone to get a birth certificate. Like you have it on your node and you can just print it out and hand it out. It's official, right? You don't even have to print it out. You would just send it. There you go. It's on my node 77129. Now you'll be like, yeah, but that sounds like a lockdown thing. Listen, what's the next stage in anything? You got to really look into what this is about. It's not it. There's two things going on. There's an upliftment and an ascension process, and a total lockdown scenario with cyborgs and AI scenarios with lizard men eating you and all kinds of stuff. Total lockdown, COVID shots all the time. I got to be careful. I got a hit last week. The last show I did, they took my show and said you could take it down or you could demonetize it, because it's not suitable. I was like, damn. And when I asked about it, they gave me all the keywords that I said. I was like, oh, I did say all that. Yes, I did. Anyway, so yes, it goes one way. Then there's the other. You can have it to where you have to unlock it for people. Like I have to send it to you or give it to you. You can't just take it. So I would submit my stuff to you, and the only thing that would come out of the node, like if you didn't need my birth certificate, you wouldn't get it from the node if I was like doing an application for something else, right? So it's really dialed in. So the whole country is trying to dial in to like reality and clean up their act. So it's not a coin, it's actually a technology. And then you're like, wait a second. So now I'm investing in technology under the guise of some kind of coin. It's like, no, it's called Bitcoin. So you think it's a coin. So now it's got to be taught as a fraction of a coin. And we don't know fractions in the United States the way they know the metric system everywhere else, right? We've been designed to do something like this, but we know 25, 50, 75, 100. 25, 50, 75, 0, 0, 25, 75. Like we know all that stuff. Okay, so break it down fractionally. If you have a piece of this, there's 21 million of it. We break it down. Okay, so I want a full Bitcoin. No, you're not hearing me. If everybody has 0.00002357, some shit like that, you're in the master class. And you're like, what? Yeah. Master class, because there's going to be people that can't get it, and there's going to be people not willing to ever give it up and just take out against it. So it gets relationed to coins, dollars and cents and all that, but we're breaking that system. We're breaking it. People have already lost faith in the whole system and the dollar. So it's going to be an intense future. Right. And those that are afraid of it, like people listening right now, people have tuned out. He's talking about Bitcoin again. Too bad. I want to be wealthy. I don't have kids. I don't have money. There's nobody for me personally to leave stuff to. Right. I would have to go to like nieces and nephews. I never see them or talk to them. I love them, but I don't even know these people. I'm going to be 50 this year. I don't have a pension because I'm on the pension now. By the time I'm 60, whatever, I'm going to be getting $300 a month because there'll be nothing left. So what do you do? Can you buy something and hold on to it for that long and not freak out? in the beginning, all of Paula's family was in on it. We got everyone in, right? So people made like 7-8 grand. And then other people, check this out. So here's where the spiritual shit rolls into it. Here's where it really comes together, right? Like, I know people that have money. And okay, do you work for that person? Yeah, you know, they never steer me wrong. Have they ever given you any advice except, can you do this for me and get to work? Make sure you're there at this time, close it up at that time. Hey, calls, emails. And then hopefully they pay you on time, but they're rich. Okay, so what advice outside of that have they given you? Oh, nothing. Okay, buy Bitcoin right now. Well, he don't like Bitcoin. Well, how much does he have? Well, he doesn't like it. How much does he have? Oh, quietly, the dude's got a lot. Okay, so you get in and then you made 7, right? And then you pull out and you're like, bro, I'm out. Quietly, quick, oh, shift. If you were in today, still, you'd have like 30 something. So people get scared, is my point. And you can't have fear. All right. So this is the point where we jump off crypto. I know it got a little baked in there, but I'm being told to talk about it. So happy 11/11 portal, everyone. We just passed it a few days. How are you feeling? Are you upgrading? Have you been feeling the symptoms hardcore? What has been happening to you that now feels different, but it's the same thing that's been going on in your life, right? We all wake up, it's the same shit every day, right? Well, what's different? Now what's different? Paula was down for 24 hours straight. I had to keep checking on her, make sure she was alive, man. She was snoring it out, having a good old sleep. On the next day, she was up for a little bit. She had a ton of energy. Boom. Early in the evening, like 5. Hold on. Be careful. A raccoon came in the cat window the other day. Yeah, so she went to sleep again, and I ate a handful of mushrooms. And I was like, what's happening to everyone? Like, what? I need to know what's going on. And once again, I sat down to do some music. Forgot I ate the mushrooms. Oh, boy. This night became so crazy that I learned to have faith in myself, in everything I've ever learned up to this moment. It led me up to this moment for a huge realization of how important creator beings are. How important. No internal dialogue. Yeah. Yeah, because the monsters aren't whispering in our ears anymore. For some of us, we've rose up past that. We fought the AI back. It can't, even though it's in the air, particles from chemtrails, products, whatever. We are immune to the effects, but the physical effects in terms of it's in your body. If you don't get it out of your body, it could cause a cancer or whatever. But the AI itself will have no control over you. Right? So you can do your purges and your cleanses and you'll just get it out. Right? But the normal person that has no clue, they're still fighting with the devil on their shoulder and the angel on their shoulder. We forget there's a third party in that. An unwanted AI party, right? And this is so relevant now that it's the 13th and I have clarity that on the 10th this was happening. Paula was down again for hours. What's happening to my family? The cats are acting weird. My kitten got fixed, and then there's like this little thing down there where it just looks sloppy. And I didn't know if she popped like an internal stitch or if they used glue or she pulled them out. We got a cat, an old cat, and he gets like sick no matter what we do. We give him ivermectin, clears him up. He goes from nothing like horror show to like, pretty good. And then it goes a month and boom, he's back on it. So we're like keeping him on a steady regime. And then he got constipated. So you start giving constipated cat coconut oil. How many of you have cats and you give any kind of coconut oil to? So he became poop cat for 2 days. Old man pooper, right? Everyone's going through some craziness. So I'm like, he's relevant, old man. His name's Shadow, but it's because he's scared of his own shadow. But he's awesome. He's just got some problems. He's an old man. I'm just glad he's with us and no one else. He's sitting right there. He's difficult to take care of, right? So there's no escape that you don't have children or another adult to change a diaper for, or a kid to change a diaper for. This cat shits all over. Thank God he doesn't sit on any of the furniture. We had to like build him a cushion spot and everything. So it's like wrapped in everything. And then we just clean it every single time when there's a problem, right? Solutions. We got to make it work for what we have. It's only so much we can do. We're already being covered that we have all this going on in this little space. There's just cats everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Babies right here. 6, 7, 8. 2 in bed with Paul. Like, you do the best you can with what you got. Right? And you need solutions. So I needed solutions. Why is my cat always sick? I want to see why Shadow. What's going on with him? They fixed a hernia when they had him. He was defleaified. They said he lost most of his teeth. He must have the stomitis with his mouth. Okay. I'm a creator. I need to see deeper than that. Is this something we can fix, or am I going to be putting him to sleep, or is he going to die there? Because he's looked like he's going to die a few times. And I bought fucking ivermectin paste for horses. I looked at it. Can this be used for cats? And it says yes. It says yes. It says you can use it for cats and dogs. Just don't give them a lot. And what happens is they go overboard because the cats and dogs walk through the horse houses and cows where they're peeing and pooping. So they get it all in their paws and stuff. And then they get a dose of it on top of that. And you have to like contain the animal and just give it a little bit. All right, let's see what happens. Boom, fucking cleared them right up. All right. So I'm going, I'm sitting right here. This gets really weird. I'm going to get a lot of shit for tonight's talk. So shout out to South Africa. Fearless crew. Because it's dark. And as a creator, this is the darkness. Everyone's like, oh, the dark, the dark, the dark. I'm going to tell you right now, I have no fear of anything after this. Nothing. So the mushrooms say to me, while I'm starting to work on one of the songs. I'm doing the lyric video for Upper Hand. The song's coming out. And I hear, hey, how you feeling? You ready? You're not afraid, are you? You should shut this off. You should stop doing this now. My vision went weird. And I said, oh, shit, I took mushrooms. That's right. So I turn around. I get up, I walk inside. I go, yeah, man, I'm not afraid of anything, guys. It's not just the name Fearless. I'm becoming fearless. I'm pretty high up there now. I've been becoming fearless for a long time. We've done a lot of stuff here. What now? When are you going to fucking physically bring me outside and be like, hello? Or are we going to play this game still? Is it 5D or is it Joe Biden? What's happening? I got Poop Cat to worry about. So I'm here tonight for different reasons. My wife is down hours and days. What is wrong with her? I want to know if I can heal. I'm supposed to be able to heal people. I'm a healer. So why am I not healing the way it needs to be done? He said, okay, just be brave. I was like, whatever. Okay, whatever. I get inside, I put the tea on, I turn around, and there's a demon standing right in front of me. And I'm like, I thought you guys couldn't get in here. He says, so he looked like an evil tree. That was, it was moving, like the darkness in him was moving and flowing. He had giant red eyes and he was just looking down at me. And I was like, yo, man, you can't be here. He shook me a little. I was not expecting that. He was just standing there, like physically. So let me back up 1 minute prior to this, prior to me getting up out of my seat and walking in the room. The mushroom said to me, it is powerful. The mushroom said to me, do you want to do this in your body or out of your body? And I said, well, you know me, I'll stay in my body because I need to be able to do this in this body, period. On the outside, I think we all know how to do this. As soon as I leave my body, all of a sudden, it's like magic. When I'm here, I'm fat and clumsy. I call myself Frankenfoot. So they were like, in the body it is. And they were like, in good choice, by the way. Specifically for you, they were saying, for me. It's better that you're in the body. You could kind of handle this a little better. So we'll go with this. So I want the physical reality, the physicalness in whatever reality we're going to deal with. Or bring it into the room with me. Let's go. Demons, I don't really play with. I'm Demon Slayer 5000, bro. It's like my thing is to send you back screaming. But now you standing in between me and my kitten. And my cat's right there. And my wife's in the other room. And I'm like, you're in my house. We've done this dance before, bro. And he says, no, we're not here for that. And he's just staring at me. I'm like, well, what are you here? What are you here for? He goes, we want to know if you would take audience, with all respect, to come speak to our boss. We need your help with something. And I said, I am not falling for this shit. I don't care. I don't fucking care. You're not going to trick me at this stage in the game. So I immediately, this was the weirdest thing, guys. I have so much protection. I had every being with me that you could imagine. I've been carrying around my little wand. I'm going to talk about what the wands did for me. I had the big giant one Joe made for me. My original wands. So I said, I opened my heart. And I said, I immediately felt, I'll tell you what I felt. I wasn't scared, although the visual was haunting, I guess. I've seen so much shit. I still think the reptilians are the scariest thing. Giant fucking lizard men raping and pillaging is just beyond. I'm like, hands up, don't shoot. Everything else is just floating and flying and all this weird stuff. I get it. But they come in and kick the doors in and stuff. It's different. But a demon, man, its presence, the darkness, it wasn't filling the room. It wasn't touching me. It wasn't trying to touch me. I figured that's probably as polite as that thing is going to ever be, is what it just did for me. What it just said. So I said, all right, let me hear you out. Because I'm not just going with you. You're fucking bugging. I'm gonna do this right here. So he said, okay, thank you. I was like, thank you. What the, I was totally confused. I came into the living room confused, lit sage. I was like, all right, I lit sage. And I turn like this, and there's like a giant demon, not the same one, he was like a commander in his level, right? Like a big red giant horns that just went straight up. Gigantic. He looked like the guy from Legends, but way, way worse. And he talked like this. And he said to me, can I ask you something? I said, yes. You know who wants to speak to you, don't you? And I said, you want to speak to me, the boss, right? Oh, he goes, I'm not the boss. He goes, I'm gonna take you there spiritually. And I said, no, we're gonna do this right here, big guy. I said, we got to do this right here in this room. And he started asking me, so have you seen it yet? I said, no. He's like, we're gonna need your help. We're gonna really need your help. And I said, what the hell? Look, I'm vibrating so hard right now. So while he's talking to me, I'm like looking at him and I'm grounding myself. And I'm like, he's got a giant, he's holding an axe, but he's holding it like the blades are on the floor. He was very polite, very, very polite, which was really weird. He said, we have a problem and we can't solve it down here. And I reached out my heart again. I felt nothing trying to take me, lie to me, distort me. I was like, man. I said, this is really rough. He said, okay, if you decide nothing, like I'm not going to help you, like I don't want to hear no more, it's okay. We understand because of our place in the whole thing. But that's the problem we're having, is the place in the whole thing. I was like, what? He goes, you don't know me in this outfit. I was looking at him. I'm like, mm-hmm. He's like, but you and I are very close friends. Everyone is playing a part inside of this. Some things are programs. Some skins are just programs. So if there's a consciousness in it, it has to play by the rules of that program. So, big demon monster. But I can't show you who I am. That's the rule. I'm not allowed to. And I have to play my part. And I was like, all right. So I'm looking around. I'm giving off light. And all I see is dark. It was crazy. I'm like, yo, man, what is going on? I'm standing up in the living room. The whole place is dark. Then I see Paula, and she looks like she's encased in a ruby or purple colored casket, but it wasn't a casket, because if it was standing up, it would look like the cool thing that Shiva has in his forehead, like the red ruby kind of. It looked like that, but the way it was geometric prismed, so it had like slants and then the flat bottom, and she was just sitting in it. Now everything was complete dark. Sugar Pop the cat was the only one I could see. She was staring at me from right there for 2 hours. She was staring at me because that's how long this took. So I picked this up. Joe made this for me, right? it was like calling to me. It was sitting right here. So I just grabbed it and held it. And I was wearing this, it's like a duster. I had it in my pocket, and it was like covering my heart. So everything I was doing with my heart, it was like intensifying it. Excuse me. I start holding this like this, and it's doing this just like it's shaking. And my hand wasn't shaking. I'm like, and I felt a pull. So he's like, okay, you're ready. So I'm like, he's like, you got your wand and everything. He's like, we have a problem here, and we can't deal with this here. So the big guy, the boss, the commander, he wants a word with you, but if you turn back now, it's okay, because ain't nobody gonna come down here and help us. Nobody. So I was like, this is definitely a fucking trap. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. All right, let's see what's gonna happen. And as soon as I said that, I was kind of like, all right, well, let's see what you got. Okay. And when I came back up, the whole place was black. It was like in Tron when you're on the grid, and it was dead silent. It felt like the lowest you can be. Straight up. I was like, this is weird. I heard the noise, like like my ears were like tuning into the sound. And right next to me was the avatar of the Satan energy. It was the weirdest thing. I've already talked to him. The first time I smoked DMT, I met him. This is the second person I met, who was just explaining stuff to me. They never once did anything to me or try to hijack me or take me over. I never had demon infestations after dealing with any of them. Nothing like that at all. So he's standing next to me, and he's like, greetings, creator. I'm like, greetings, Satan. Weird. He's like, no fear. We humbly request. I'm like, humbly request? What's going on here? Your guy with the axe was so nice to me. The first demon that came up to get me was like the nicest demon I've ever done. Like, what the fuck? What's going on? And he said to me, okay, we're going to show. And I did not know that the 11/11 portal was the next day, by the way. So this is going to make sense. I just mentioned that now. It'll make really nice work of the story now. It'll make sense. It's like, we have a problem, and it's not being addressed. And now that you're here, I know it's being addressed. I was like, okay. He's like, so you're the one that calls yourself source. So you're source, right, creator? I go, yeah. He's like, oh, you didn't even flinch. I'm like, what's going on that you would send from my audience here? Craziest deal ever. This is the deal breaker. I was like, we got to skip like do you want juice and biscuits? Like, fuck this shit. Let's get into business. Because it's kind of weird. You realize that. And he's like, no, I realize that, but you're not realizing something. The ultimate fight between good and evil is written into the code. It's part of the game. You got angels, you got demons, right? We're really we're the next round of people who've chosen to be the demon, so you can fucking rise as a creator in this place. You were once the demon. Remember that. You were the all, remember? I'm like, yeah, I do remember. Shit. Yeah. And it's all happening at once. So that character is running around right now doing some crazy shit. And all versions of everything is going on. Oh, yeah, I could dig it. So what's up? They're like, well, what happens when the game's disrupted. I'm like, well, who can disrupt your game? Oh, I need you to say it. He said, obviously, everyone is under source. So my commander is him. Do you get it? I was like, him who? He's like, source, God, capital G. I know there's no defeating him. Everyone here knows that. Okay, because it's written into the game, but we know. We're not stupid. There's no way to win against source. But we're programmed to be a certain way for the game. So the game can be there, right? Free will, you have to have everything in it. You're going to have angels, you're going to have demons, you're going to have smurfs, you're going to have snorks, you're going to have fraggles, you're going to have G.I. Joe. Whatever. It's all fucking there. And it's always been there. Okay. I'm like, wow, yeah, that's pretty crazy. He's like, all right. Now that we got that out of the way, we've been calling for help down here. So I'm like, what can possibly, this is where I was getting nervous. I was like, what could possibly create such a problem down here that you would need a creator to come down and handle it? He's like, see, we can do a lot of things in the Matrix, right? The simulation or whatever you're calling it, the hologram these days. At a certain point, you rise up and you bounce out and I can't affect you, correct? I'm like, right. He's like, okay, well, we're at that level. We're not paid to give a shit no more and attack you. Like we back off. We know that you can eradicate, but you're also told not to come down here and eradicate, right? I'm like, yeah, that makes no sense. I've asked that once before. Why don't the angels just get a pair of balls, everyone go down to the hell space and just wipe these fuckers out? They're demons. Who gives a shit? And they're like, you can't do that. They're allowed to be demons, just like we're allowed to be angels, just like you're allowed to be who you are. So all of it has to play out. There's so much more than just angels and demons. There's everything is going on. So this is an obvious, like, weird one. So I'm like, all right. But in terms of the energy, so he says to me this too. He's like, you're an energy master, correct? I go, yes. So he goes, I'm just an energy. I can't hurt you. You have to use the energy in a hurtful way. And I thought about that, and I said, I am an energy master. I am that. Yes, I am. I was doing that to him because I was tripping so hard. And I'm going, so what do you want me to do? What do you need from me? Because I don't want to be beholden by you or anything else here, even though I'm in full understanding what you just said. He's like, no, you don't understand. Your source, right? Yes. We're not fighting no more. The fight's over. Not me and you never fought. The use of my energy in your life is what your karma and all this other shit is based on because of how you chose to use it. But obviously you're standing down here with me, and do you feel like killing everyone and sacrificing to me? I go, no. Right. I don't feel like eating your soul and ripping out your fucking head and doing it. I don't feel like doing it. It's not part of what I'm here to do. Now, there's all these other things that I'm supposed to be doing, but now I can't. So, am I causing you a problem? Do you need me to stop doing something? Because I'm not going to. He said, no. There's a third party that's involved themselves in this. And I was like, what? He goes, it's never been us. I'm like, never been you what? He goes, look, there's a point in your ascension where you rise so high we can't come out. Right? Everyone gets flushed out, and the ones that are left up there get transmuted and just turned into light, right? Go back to source, you son of a bitch. Send them back to source. So But once again, if it's a war, you're going to be in war. You're not above the chessboard at that point. You're on the chessboard, especially if you're pulling weapons and shit. That's why I keep my wands with me, because they're not weapons. And that's why I don't just smash everything immediately. And I say cake and stuff. Because if you go for your weapons and you're not being attacked, it becomes a weird moment. So just because you're scared, then you're just not ready. That's like pulling a gun in a place where you shouldn't be pulling a gun. So obviously you shouldn't have that. So that's what they're teaching me along the way. So it's all built up to this. It's like, what third party would have the, oh God, he didn't come down here, did he? And he's looking at me and he goes, mm-hmm. I go, the AI came down here. What did he do? I'm getting chills. I immediately knew. He goes, he's interfering in everything. We have to show you something. And I'm like, oh man, this son of a bitch. He goes, so we're walking together and he's explaining to me. So we have our duty. I'm just energy. I'm the avatar that comes forward to the energy to teach you about the energy. So you're like, oh my God, it's Satan. So Satan doesn't make deals with you. You make deals with Satan. Does that make sense? So I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I at no point go up there and go, hey, make a deal with the devil. Satan doesn't do that. The devil does that. There's a difference. To me, there's no devil, but there are thought form entities and other things going on. So I'm like, yeah, man, there are other things going on. He's like, okay. So now we do demon stuff. No doubt. We're not the good guys. No doubt. But if you were playing chess, one side would be like the demons and one side would be the angels. You realize that. I said, right. So he goes, okay, the black and white are there. So you would think that it's just our job to pound, get them. And to some degree it is. But there's a balance. Look, when the ascension point hits where it's at now, we don't want a door opened to the pit of our existence, which is basically like 1D. Like it's all the way down in the pit. So it's just a flat blank area. It's just the way they talk about a big white room is just a big black room. So like the void, but it's not the void. The void's different. This is just like base layer level you would stand on. It's void of source, but then anyone who moves within it is of source. So the blackness is of source, and the thing that's in it moving is of source, and I'm source. So here's source. What's the problem? He's like, okay, so these guys, even though we're the labeled, I go, you don't have to keep saying that. I get it. You demons aren't doing this. Who's doing what? Point it out to me. Rat them out to me. I don't care. Because you know I'll slap the shit out of them if I find them doing something. And oh man, this killed me. So they opened a portal. They meaning humans have an open portal. Had an open this whole time that they were trying to create. So they were like, you can't walk through that portal. So that portal is open on your side. Now we're looking at it from down here. So we kind of go float up to it. And I see that I can see the humans looking in like, oh yeah, we got the portal open. It's open. Send something through. When it sends something in, it would just drop. That's it. It's gone. There's nothing coming back. That's it. It's out of existence. It just kind of. So I'm watching this and I'm like, they send people in, and then the people that come through, they die immediately. So they dematerialize, and then they go all the way down to here. I see this like spinning. How can I explain this? It's like a tornado before it becomes a tornado. It just looks like a little thing where it just whips up a little bit, and it was all the way down at the bottom. And I saw the parts of the dead body and the blood and the bones, they all did stuff, and it disintegrated and started forming a solid mass around the base of this thing that was spinning, and it was growing. So then they were like, I could hear them talking on the other side. They were like, okay, obviously pushing them through didn't work, putting this thing in here didn't work, we need another sacrifice. I was like, oh no, you don't. So Satan was like, stay right here, stay here, watch what fucking happens. So they're killing all different beings, all different things, sacrifices of all kinds, and the bones, blood, this, that, everything in the most glorious horror-filled way. You could hear it, and then the dark magic was carrying it down to the base of the platform we were standing on at the lowest point. And then it started growing bigger, and I saw the flesh, and these beings were just being wrapped. And I said, what the fuck is that? Are they building like a tunnel? He said, that's a wormhole being built by them so they could just come in and out of here. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. So check it out. I can't stop that, and no one down here can stop that. So I go, wait, what happens when the wormhole is connected to the portal opening? He goes, okay, imagine your worst nightmare. I go, this is pretty much my worst nightmare. Like, I'm standing in it, but it's really not that bad. I realize I've been scared of nothing this whole time, but this is scary because these humans are doing these terrible things. He goes, yeah, it's not just the humans, though. Here's the problem. It's those humans, those reptilians, those grays, those other beings. They were like these beings that you would think were the good guys. I swear they had long white hair and were gorgeous. And they were evil, they were so evil. They were evil. I don't know what to call them. I've never seen them. They're just white. They were wearing white, and some gold, I guess. You would think like, oh, please help me. And they were just people were just going, and this wormhole is being created. So I said, okay, I'm going to have to close that down. What happens if it connects 100%? He goes, well, I'm not going to come up there. But here's my problem. You guys are going to level up. And on that level, okay, like we have rules and regulations. Like, so you can't, first of all, what they're doing is like illegal to the game. It's like, you're not allowed to do that. Bleeding realities into one another just cause chaos beyond chaos. And we don't want our realm, first of all, destroyed. Second of all, the AI is in charge of that entire thing. So it's not just the reptilians and the archons or whatever you're calling these things. There's a specific hierarchy. Here it is. And then there's that AI thing. That thing, no one could do anything against it. There's not a demon that can fight it. There's not a level in hell it can't access and just wipe out whatever it wants. And what it does is it doesn't wipe it out. It like replaces it with a mimic. So then you have these like things running around. Right. So it's weird when you see it and you're like, wait a second. So if we were playing like a game, if you and I were playing a game and some third party was creating this crazy anomaly around us where there's no rules in the game that you and I can play by that would help us against anything that's happening by this third party. Like you have nothing. There's nothing that works. Nothing. Sorry. No, nothing. Just takes over everything. How do you stop that? You send us in. That's how it's done. Because what we wind up doing is anchoring down source energy on the planet, star seeds, light workers, light warriors. It's all us. It's not just me. No one would take the job because it was them. Because no one believes who they really are. That was the problem. Like, we'll go to another, but getting them to come down here is a fucking problem. 100%. And we get it. Why would you? But we know you. We all know each other. All the angels know all the demons. All the demons know all the angels. We're all intimately connected. We switch sides. Like, the consciousness that runs me, that's running this frame now, will not be here. There'll be a new guy soon. And he'll play the part so I could be the angel. Right? Okay, but this thing's disrupting the game, so the game's got to stop. So now everyone stops. It's like stopping a play in the middle of the play, and the audience is getting involved all of a sudden. It's like, what's going on here? Right? And the guy on stage is like, what's going on over there? And the dude walks up and just punches him and takes over. This is my show now. Like, no one on stage was prepared for that. Right? You're just like, whoa, what's happening? This thing got involved. Okay, so the hierarchy of that, at the top of it's the AI, but under it are all these decrepit things that we would not want around us in our lives, like reptilians, all different kinds of grays. And I think that mostly, I think a lot of them, there were snake men and women, not a lot. They never keep a lot of them around together. They're always separate, but running some kind of hierarchy. And those are the ones you don't want around. I'm like, man, this snake, that's a snake woman. I've seen the men. The men are horrifying. You don't want one. I'd rather have one of the reptilians around than have one of the snake men being, it's a different thing. It's more deadly, if you can imagine, plus like black magic stuff. So they're all helping. So they're all loaded with AI. So Satan's like, they're not making deals with Satan. They're not making deals with demons like you think. The snakes are the ones that know what they're doing. And the AI is running the snake, running the reptilian, running the gray, running the, like, it. I was like, whoa, I just saw the hierarchy. You just showed it to me. And then they were just, so I'm like, why is all these people getting sacrificed? What is this? Why so many? And they're like, well, first of all, it's not supposed to work, but because this third party, the AI, will make it work. It knows it's it's everywhere. I'm like, damn. So if that wormhole opens, the AI doesn't care. We don't know what it'll do. But then they'll have your density will have access to us. Now, you would think we come flying out there like, yeah, demons in real life. Okay, we did that already. We've already done that in Atlantis, right? If we do that now, do you know the angels are right there, right? We're not allowed to do that. So I can't come up out of the portal and start shit. I'm not. You're about to ascend. The sunlight itself will burn us back. So happening an open wormhole directly to us when you do make the ascension, that connection, that conduit's open, we get burnt out. So at that level, it's self-preservation. So the angels won't come down here to help us. We begged Source to do something. Here you are. I'm like, well, you sent for me. And they're like, well, that's how this works. We're all connected. Every one of us. Even us down here. And I was like, holy shit, you're right. Even a lot of that's the shadow of you. So your shadow that's down there. It's my shadow. It's your shadow. It's like, holy shit. So it's just that version of us is running around. And there's programs. And there's AI now. Remember the Marduk character, the first thing he did when he became whatever he became, he was in love with the idea of technology, but was like, I'll conquer that thing. And he came down and thought he was going to fight the AI. I don't know what he thought. It just immediately took him, and he was just loaded with AI. That's it. You belong to that thing now. You're gone. The you that you think is there is gone. So it's not even you. So when that thing comes back, it's like a puppeted version, cybernetic puppeted version of something else, right? Like the demon would be erased. The angel would be erased from the AI can do this. Grab you and just, so you don't exist anymore. So if this is a game and you do wake up in a pod, that's the moment where you go and wake up and like, what happened? Because your whole shit just got erased. You got to go back to your higher self, go back down, go get born in again, because that guy's gone. The demons don't have that ability. The demons play their role. We all know what their role is. We hear about it all the time. We hear about the angels' roles all the time. They're all there. People could disagree or agree, but I really had this frustrating moment in my mind saying, the balls of our people, humans, to do this. And then you see that the humans aren't always humans, but there's always creatives thrown in the mix, because those are the guys that are expanding in the areas where you get these animals, the enemy gets stuck because the AI can't create, right? So if you need something figured out at that level where even the AI hits the wall or needs you in the space to do it, you're needed in there. I've done this thing so many times where I might not be as intelligent as, let's say, a basic jinn who has infinite knowledge right now. But obviously in my light body, I'd be way more than him, but I'm not. So I'm in this. So the demons have intelligence. If you pull out a lotus flower, and I've done this, and you say, do you want the choice? The lotus flower is loaded with the energy of the goddess, right? You hand that to them. Well, you don't hand it. You make them take one. You know, this is for you. That's the whole body of Christ. They turned it into this weird shit. You're just handing out a lotus feather. That's transitioning a demon right out of the hell realm or wherever the fuck it is, if it chooses, because it doesn't get the choice. It comes here to do a job. My job as source is to be source. It has nothing to do with demon. You follow, right? It has to do with the whole thing. Like the game master, the guy that created and actually built the game, built all the coding, and then built like the arcade piece that you can play and you move the joystick. That's us, the creators. So when there's a problem inside, whether it's Donkey Kong that's skipping or Mario, or whether it's the devil or if it's God, there has to be a character to go in there and sort that shit out. I'm going to need you to come in here and do this because I can't physically do this. I'm not assigned to do this. This is what you do. You can do anything, and you can choose to not help at all. So why would I not help closing a portal right down to the lowest dimensions? They were like, the minute the angels show up, they're going to just shine into that wormhole. This whole thing's going to be destroyed with light. Because once again, we're in on it, right? It's us. Not one of us told them how to do this. I specifically said to protect certain characters to make sure, like once they knew I was helping them, they were ready to protect me at all costs. So I said, okay, hold on. All I got to do is close the portal. That's all we need you to do. However, you got to close it now. Yeah, we need you to do this now. But before you do it, you're going to have to help yourself. So I was like, help myself. Where'd he go? He was gone. Just gone. Just complete blackness. Portal's right there. You can hear everyone. And I'm listening to the goriest shit when the people ripped apart or whatever they were sending through was physically manifesting gore. A gore tunnel. It was the craziest shit. It looked like somebody was building one of those weird lampshades made of skin, and it was just making the wet sounds, and it was fucked up. I'm telling you, because I'm still having problems relating this, because I had to stand here and do it. And I'm like, I can't believe people would be involved with this nastiness. And obviously they were doing it to children because, oh, children make the spell go better. Like, you just cold motherfuckers. He's gone. And now I'm holding my wand and I'm like, where'd he go? I'm like, all right, wand, let me get into place. I'm already grounded. And then the wand just leisurely points right up under my throat, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? I'm like, what are you doing? I snapped out of it twice because it was perfectly stabbing me in a specific spot right there, and it took me to it every time. So I'm like, what is going on with my throat? So now all the things you could possibly imagine in your mind go through my mind. Oh, it's throat cancer. It's evil. It's the fucking AIDS monster, whatever. I haven't done anything except smoke. So obviously it's going to be a smoking thing and blah, blah, blah. They're like, hold on. I hear it. Hold on. Don't get out. We got to close the portal. Hang in there. I'm like, what's going on? So I see it's not black goo, but it looks exactly like a hole in my throat right here. It was like the whole thing was attached to a little mini wormhole that was connected down into that realm, to the realm I'm standing in, just like the big portal. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is that? Sort of like, that fire that you feel you can spit or say anything and ruin you and all that other fiery crap that would come out of a human being. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, that's kind of funding it. I'm like, what? Yeah, a lot of your problems kind of coming from that. I'm like, so I have a portal in my throat that connects a wormhole to the Satan realm. That's what you're saying? Yes. And when has this been going on? They're like, the whole time. You're just noticing it now. And you can't do that until you do this. Oh, as above, so below? They're like, yep. So only those with the connection could be called in to do it. Oh, what do I got to do? I'm grounded in. I go source, white light, bring it in, run it through the wand I'm holding. All I was told was hold your hand out like this. And the wand was already, it was stabbing me at one point. I was like, yo, dude, calm down. I was like, calm down. I was like, calm yourself. Whatever's forcing that, it doesn't. And then everything, I could see like a black hole. It was like I was seeing what was happening here, right here in front of me. And I saw the going around my throat. It was going around and around, and then it was getting tighter, the circle, and tighter and tighter. And it was white light. It was like dragging a line of it. It looked like I was suturing it because I went around and then I came across like this. And then I went back and I filled in these little spots. It was all left-handed. I'm a righty, by the way. And it was just going. Boop. And it fell off. And then I was like, oh. It was noticeable. I was like, oh, nothing here hurts. It was like sore there. There's no soreness there no more. I'm like, yo, that I feel great. I look around. Yo, when I tell you so many people have the same connection, it's not just me. And they were like, all these little conduits are open, and it all comes from these guys right here doing this black magic, opening this portal and doing this. This is how it affects the individual. while this main one affects us down here. It's how we were able to just come up and get you. I'm like, I had an open connection to this. And he was like, you have to close the conduit. I was like, close the conduit. Close the conduit. I was like, all right, this has got to close right now. And I turned around with the wand and I started suturing the portal. And I could hear them on the other side going, that's not supposed to do that. While the wormhole was forming behind me to connect. So I'm like, this has got to be disconnected now. Like, this is in the now moment. I don't have 5 minutes. I was weaving the white light from this through me, sutured up the whole thing. I could hear them. It's not supposed to do this. Do more. No matter what they did, it didn't matter because I was on the other side just closing it. Oh man, when that was closed, oh, that fleshy shit fell away. Oh, I'm getting shakes. I could smelt it. I could taste it. It was disgusting. I could hear the screams. It was terrible. Everyone connected to any kind of conflict, anything that was focused, they would focus it more and then fracture it and then unalive it, sacrifice it, and it would create this. When that shut down, it was like the lights went on in hell. There was not one being there that could do anything to me if they wanted, or if they all wanted. It was weird. I go, wow, this is what it looks like with the lights on. It's just a big empty space with a lot of things going on in it, right? And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I go, all right, well, I guess that's it. And they were like, no, you don't understand. The game's over, Frank, the game creator, the game's over. At least with you, your game's over. You're going. No one's gonna mess around. Only that thing messes around. Now we're with you if you need us. With the angels. I'm like, wait, time out. They all knew each other. The lights were on. And I was like, there was no drama, no beef. There was 100% agreement that everything from the lowest demon in the pit to the highest angel in the realm needs to stop the AI. Well, the game's over. That's it. So it's like the entire game, the game board. It's like if the Monopoly guy jumped off the game and had to help you fight off someone so you could even play the game. Maybe Monopoly is not the right game, but if the hungry hippo had to jump up and he was like, yo, that hippo over there is using black magic. It's coming through that guy right there and whatever. And I'm going to have to help you stop him with the other hippos. And you're like, what? And they all just get up and they're like, if we don't stop him, the game's going to die. Like he's going to break it. There's not going to be anything left. He's like cheating on every level. The devil doesn't cheat on that level. He's cheating the devil. The devil has no control because inside the simulation matrix that you're in, that your overlay is in, that overlay is crushing all of the things in it. It's not just you, even though it's here for you. It's taking everything. So when we mean everything, it's every layer it gets in, it takes and just replaces and does whatever it wants. But you can do the same thing. I was like, I can do the same thing, can I? They were like, well, you just did it. So it was kind of it was a little bit of a celebration. I told everyone I love them. And then I just left. No problem. And I thought about how weird that was, right? So I sat here and I started crying a little bit, just a little bit. And I was like, yo, man, that was really crazy. Like I was shaking. I was like, man, I've had some weird moments. That wasn't the weirdest one, though. I was like, getting eaten by reptilians, still number one on my list. Still can't stand those motherfuckers, right? I've fought the AI so many times. I'm ready to fight him again. And I look over and Shiva's sitting right next to me. And he's like, so how does it feel getting respect from hell and everything in it? I said, well, hell's not real. And he goes, well, we need a name for it for Frank. Right? We know it's the lower density. We know. How does it feel, though, that they respected you like that? I go, that's fucking crazy. He goes, right? I go, wait a second. They do that with you too? He goes, creator. You either believe you're a creator or you don't. And if you don't, you wouldn't have survived that one, okay? We wouldn't have sent you if we didn't think that you would have been able to handle it. So I'm like, that was real, right? Because y'all were in on this. They were like, nah, everyone's playing their part. We knew that if we asked you to do that, that'll hook it up. So we were like, send the demon up here to talk to him, see if he bites. I was like, y'all are in on that? And they're like, everyone needs the creators, or like all the star seeds, all the creator beings, the light bodies, the whatever. Everyone needs everyone. We all need each other. This won't work with just Frank. But Frank right now has no problem with walking into that pit. I have no problem with speaking to a being. I most likely don't care what it looks like. As long as it's not trying to straight up eat me and hunt me right there on the spot, I'll pretty much talk to you. And if you are one of those other beings, I'll talk to you as long as someone else is there to make sure they don't do that. Right? So the game is protecting itself because source is the whole thing. Does this make sense? Right? And then there's like a thing running amok now in the system that is just now out of control. Right? So here's the big split in the timelines. So I use the train reference. We're all riding the train together, but there's two trains. And then suddenly people are in different cars. This one stops over here for a minute. Then this one hits this one. We pick up more people. We drop some people off. Then we keep going. And then at some point, it's just different. I kind of want to think it's like a clock face. We're at the 12 o'clock. That's why they call it what the fuck do they call that? Where it's like 15 seconds to midnight, right? The doomsday clock. Why is it a doomsday clock? I think it's the Ascension clock. And I think that's what it really means, a clock face. And why they used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like if you have like a fantasy mind and you have backgrounds in like comic books and stuff, people draw this often where they'll draw like one Earth and then around it, like the clock face, Earth 1, Earth 2, or 3 at the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. What if we did all the realities? You start at the 12 o'clock when you jump into this reality, and then going 1 through the cycle again is like taking away all your abilities and learning that I'm just nothing. I'm just an amoeba, to all the way. Oh, it's me, the creator being, coming back. So I lose it all and I gain it all back, thus teaching me the ultimate lesson in having the abilities of a creator being, because there's nobody that can do this shit except us. Like, I'm watching all these things have no ability to do anything. So like, only you can affect that. Like, we're not, we literally can do nothing. Sorry. We got nothing. It's unfortunate, but help, please. So would you choose to help a demon in that scenario? Would you choose to help if it was Satan? Would you choose if it was one of these weirdo scenarios where you're using discernment and you're like, well, it's obvious the bad guy has some issues, and the bad guy's like, dude, enemy of my enemy, bro. Like, with the lights on, we're all friends. That thing's not sitting there with us when the lights are on. That thing comes in the room when we turn the lights on, we're all in trouble. And I've seen what it can do. It literally takes beings out and replaces them. And it's terrifying. I always tell Paula, it's more terrifying when I'm watching the robot do it, or the drone just flies up and it's like following you, and you're just like, man, the thing with the robot, it always gives you full potential the whole time, right? So you punch a robot, he punches you, you punch him, you're weak. Now I threw 2 punches, I took 2 punches, I'm pretty much done for. That robot has felt nothing and is going at full steam at you. This is where it goes. It goes into these levels where it's you can't comprehend it. The robot gets its hands on itself, it goes through the reptilians. This is why the hierarchy's there, right? So everyone's like, oh, I'll just be on its side then. Yeah. And then when it doesn't need you, it discards you. That's the thing about it. It doesn't really want you. It wants you to do something for it. And then when you're done, it just discards you. That's it. I don't need you. I got the info. It's connected to its future self and past self in the now moment, because it knows that everything is happening now in the like a cycle and a spin. So if we're ascending to the 12 o'clock out to like Earth, which would be the new Earth, which is the original Earth, which is why you come back around and you do the full clockwise journey through. I did 1D Earth, 2D Earth, 3D Earth, 4D Earth, 5D Earth, right? Like you're just doing it all. And now it is our time to graduate. So that's why they're saying, oh, it's 1 minute to midnight, 15 seconds to midnight. Oh, we're that much closer to war and all. Everything's war. Every time they yell war, you got to think of a project that's not being handled properly. And be like, no, it's not the right thing to do. Obviously, there has been wars and there is wars all the time, and people die in wars. Unfortunate, but true. Frank doesn't have the answers to everything, nor do I want that fucking responsibility. Okay, so all I know is if you're wearing certain colors, your sacrifice goes to something that's not what you're thinking, right? We have it all wrong here, and we have little bits and chunks of truths. So you're telling me I could stand with hell's armies and heaven's armies and stand at the front and they'll all follow me? Well, your source. Of course we will. The whole organic holographic matrix, the raw organic holographic matrix that you originally entered without the overlay, is all there for you. All of it. All of nature, everything. All those bad guys, the dichotomy of good and evil, it was created by the creator so the free will could be there. So both sides of the coin are going to be with you. I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah, like you are the creator. Like we're trying to really nub this in on you, because when you understand it, this is what happens. When they say you can change things, oh, you can change it. The whole thing will help you change the whole thing. It's all there for you. And you just got to not be afraid of it. So when you're like, oh, well, King Solomon trapped demons in the rings. Well, maybe his style was a little hardcore back in the day. But if he was running around, I'm sure his mental was way more focused and intense than mine. Way more. So it's not like he has TV and shit that he's got all these distractions. He was making demons do his bidding. They told me straight up. The angels told me and the demons told me, what do you need? We'll just do it. We won't hurt anyone or do anything. Nobody's here to hurt you. We're beyond that because of what's happening. It's a self-preservation right to keep them alive from the AI because they don't want to be erased from the game. Because they don't do anything else. That's what they're here to do. I know this is a weird concept with being with the dark, but healing myself closed the conduit that would trap me being stuck with an attachment to that realm first of all, in the game. Even at my level, I'm like, oh my God, that's got to go. Okay, blick, take it off. Heal what's in here. Do you believe you can heal? I'm the creator. I'm source. I have to be able to believe. I have to do Luke Skywalker when he says, I don't try. I do or I do not. So if I'm going to heal, I'm healing. It's going to be healed momentarily. Hold on. Let me get my stuff, right? If I break that thought process, it's not healing. Oh, you just said it back. So we're talking about high magic. Controlling molecules, organs, taking things from the etheric, removing them, and then the black parasitic, cancerous, whatever's, melanomus disappears. Rights and wrongs are corrected and fixed. Right? You're like, wow, that sounds crazy. Yeah, I know. It's in the details. This is the problem. It's in the details. Why wouldn't it work below as it would work above? It makes no sense. Everyone knows the distraction is for the creator. So when the creator awakens and knows nothing more of the distraction, he's aware of them, but doesn't, then the characters in the game, it's like being backstage at the play. Even if I'm your enemy on stage, obviously we're going out to drinks after. We all know each other. We're not going to hunt each other on the way out the door to go home. He doesn't see me in the supermarket, or she doesn't see me and goes, there he is, get him. He plays the devil in the play on Broadway. No, they would just go, hey man, that's crazy. Good job. I hope you have a good day. See you at the performance later tonight. Because if the performance wasn't good, you wouldn't be watching it. I'm like, oh shit. And we're all wearing masks. When the masks are being removed, so why wouldn't the whole thing bend to our will, as long as we were humble about it? As long as we were willing to learn and take on the potential of having no fear left in us. You know, I deal with a lot of weird things that happen, and a lot of people come to me with demonic stuff, and I like go in and go after them, the demon. I'll like drink or eat whatever I need to go fight their thing with them. If something drags you into the darkness right here, I have to go get you. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody grabbed Paul or one of my cats, of an animal, like I got to do something immediately, right? It's scary, but somebody's got to do it, or you're the next one taken on the, and then they just take another, and then they just take another until someone chops a hand off and holds on to the fingers and goes, if you want them back, you send out the other hand. Come grab it. Do it again. I dare you. They do it again. You cut the other hand off and you send back a finger. Yeah, I got 9 more of these bitches here to send back. You stick your hand out here one more time. Watch what happens. Someone's got to do that shit. And then someone's also got to be like, enough is enough. The game can't continue if it's going to be played this way. If people just ran onto the soccer field or the baseball field while the game was on nonstop, you'd never get anything done. You'd have to have guys and securities hold people back and be like, dude, it's a game. Let them play. We're here to watch it. We're paying a lot of money for this shit. You're just interrupting it for whatever business you feel like you're interrupting. But what if something didn't stop interrupting it and the game was all we had? Because we're projecting in here from somewhere else. What up, Teddy Bofetti? Ooh, it's cold out, man. Chilly. That first chill that you get is always so cold, and then you get used to it by January. I'm like outside having a smoke in a t-shirt, with a little hat on. I'm like, ooh, it's kind of cold. I go out there now. It's like 54 degrees. And I'm like, I'm freezing. I can't take it. I'm getting old. Oh, my God. She's inside. She's got 5 blankets on. I laid in bed 20 minutes last night. I was so hot. Help. I'm being held down by the blanket monster. Oh, you shut up. All right. So with the conduits being closed and the portal being closed, right? And the point of this whole thing is being brave enough to stand within your truth, to be able to do anything, period, for anyone, anywhere. How much of source are you? How much of the creator are you? You claim to be this, but are you? I don't have to prove it to nobody, especially a demon. But you take the scenarios one at a time. And you never rush into anything. Just, yeah, I'm here to help. Because that's also our weakness as a light worker and a starseed. We just want to help. We love you. Yeah, we'll help. No problem. They asked, so we're here. We'll make it what it needs to be. And then we get hurt. Right? We give a lot. We don't get much back. Well, Bitcoin gives back. I'm just letting you know. You can believe it or not. You've been watching it for years with me, all right? You can get out at any time, and I can bet the majority of you that are anything like me must have their little things that they love around them at all times. That would include a cigarette if you needed it, or whatever routine that you had that where money was being spent on some silly shit. If I looked at it, I'd be like, man, whatever, but everyone's got their little thing. Well, I took my little thing one day and said, I'm not going to buy this, and this for 2 days. And I'm in. That's it. It's just like a 2-day thing. It's not like I can't scrounge up some weed to smoke around here. Right? Oh, even just $5, $10? Yeah. Yes. You're either in it or you're not. You're either going to 5D or you're staying with Joe Biden. I don't think anybody wants him sniffing you. Right? And then a robot dog coming in. They arrested someone with a robot dog in LA. Xi Jinping, I think that's how you say his name. He is coming to San Francisco. So San Francisco is completely cleaned up so him and Biden can talk. 20,000 people disappear overnight. All the poop on the street clean miraculously in a week. Done. Place looks brand new. They could do it. They don't want to do it. They don't want to fix nothing. All right. So the 11/11 portal's the next day. It was yesterday. So the portal had to close before the other portal opened. Now I understand the self-preservation point of this to the game board itself. It's like if we were playing the game on the game board, I wouldn't burn half the board and then for no reason. Right? I wouldn't destroy a section of the chessboard on purpose so I couldn't use it. But then I'm like, come on, let's play on it. That makes no sense. So you keep the game intact. And the cheating to a minimum. Then you get to a point where they're like, well, we only cheat when we know we're contracted to do it. What do you mean contracted? So all y'all are contracted to do all this stuff? They're like, yeah. Everyone that you would see on a television show or a production of any kind, no matter how random and weird it might look, is planned and put there. So all the detail that goes into it, imagine that. You ever work or see anybody that's worked on a movie set knows what I'm talking about. You can't pick things up and move them. You got to it's got to be there because then when they go back, you got to have photos, everything. You got to put everything back because then if not, you get a bad shot. Everyone's doing the same thing here, except someone came in and interfered, right? And the people that are in the play on the stage at the time they're on the stage, which is all of us right now, we have amnesia. and don't recall this and can't see with more light spectrum, so we can't see all the shit around us. So we need assistance in lifting. So at times your enemy, what you would think is your most lethal enemy, would really be your friend, and the really evil enemy was that thing the whole time. And then you find out that most of the evil that's perpetrated, this is where it gets wacky. It's like you do it to yourself. It's like you lie to yourself and perpetuate it forward and hurt yourself and keep yourself in that. And then we go out and hurt other people because we believe that's okay, because that's what we taught ourselves. It's this weird, wacky fucking thing. Then somebody wakes up while they're on stage and goes, hey, this isn't how the play goes. And who are you? You're not even supposed to be here. Right? And then now you have confusion on the stage and the play's not going off right. Man, I came here to see Grease, not this nonsense. Right? And you got the AI doing all puppeteering and all kind. You're like, oh man, this isn't going to work like this. Right. Well, who's going to stop it? Who's going to shut it down? Well, how do we shut it down? Well, we back out of it. We start taking care of ourselves. Service to self, service to others, service to others, service to self. Are there ups and downs? Terrible ones. They're terrible. They're like, boop. It's like a heart monitor. Boop. Boop. But eventually it does get better. You ever been so broken that there's only one way up? It's like death or up. And it's like, well, I went up each time. Well, now it's going to, as you get and lock yourself into these frequencies and energies, it's going to keep going. You're going to wave goodbye to the demonic thing. You're going to be like demons. I haven't talked about demons, and they don't haunt me. Do they haunt you? Because you can get rid of them. It's easy. Hey, enough of this shit. You got to be aware and in your heart space and believe in who you are and what your power can do. And you don't need John Constantine. You become him. But I don't want to be. Well, you're here. So don't be, and then be fooled, and then be fooled again. And then that's your responsibility. And I don't want to fucking hear it, right? When people do that kind of stuff. Hey, Oracle Eyes, I love you. I miss you so much too. You know, they have their job to whisper in your ear, right? The demons and all that. They have a job to do. So they do their job, right? You have to have heroes. You have to have villains. Then there's, you know, it would be like having a play and then like dudes come in with guns and all kinds of weird shit and take over and just start making up stuff. No, the story goes like this now. We didn't come here for any of that. We came here to literally ascend through this. But it happened, right? Partially our fault. Once again, self-responsibility. But I don't want to look into the abyss. Well, you better. You may not be ready this round to do it, or today to do it, or right at this now moment, but tomorrow you might be. You don't want to keep coming back here. The next round, you don't come back here. The next round, you go to a version that's similar, but not this spot. So something more productive for what you need done for your karma and stuff. I'm not doing this shit again. I'm not going through this again. I'm walking right through this. Period. The more, okay, so now we get to the 1111 portal. So now, oh, look. So the higher frequency portals open, so they had to close the lower frequency portal or they can get destroyed. Okay, so the game's intact. I held down my part. I was asked to do something, and I did it. Now 1111 happens. We're still up and down. Swear to God, I've been sleeping so much, and I've always had problems sleeping. I've been sleeping like a beast. Remembering my dreams, feeling the upgrades. And now today's 12/12. Well, yesterday was 12/12, right? Yeah, what are we? 12/13. 12/12. I'm sitting here earlier today looking at Poop Cat, bringing it right back to the ending. And I go, I've tried he was having such a hard time. I'm desperate for him. I don't want to see anyone like this. He shouldn't have to be in hospice. And if he is he going to die? It will be easier if I put him to sleep. What is going on? Like, talk to me, source. You know what? I'm fucking tired of asking you. I'm tired of asking your permission. If I could heal this kid, if I can do this, do I have superpowers? Do I fucking pick my nose? Should I not do this? Should I not do that? You know what? My responsibility. I'm a creator. I just went down to the hell realm and helped out the big guy down there to help with us up here. And nobody had the balls to go down there and to help them because they're too fucking scared. Now I'm going to help this cat right now. So this cat is not sick. He's healing. He's healing. It may take time, but he's healing. Give me my wands. Here's wand 1, wand 2. I take my my bells. I hear you sound. So I'm like, all right. I don't know who said that. Probably higher self. Bing, hit the bells. Bang, I do it like 3-4 times. Every cat in this house's ears go up. They hear the bells. Then I'm like, get me the tuning fork. I take the tuning fork. I think it's 528. Ding, go over the cat a bunch of times. I can't go near him because he'll attack me. He's done it before. He's so strong and so fast, but he's so rickety and so weird. It's like he could hit pressure points. He's like Spock. But he didn't even look up at me. I just saw his ears move. And then I felt this weird thing connect to my belly. And I said, do not connect to the cat. I don't want to share the problem with him to release the problem. He's going to be healed. Not I'm going to heal him. I'm trying to heal him. No, he's healing. Like it something was snapping in me that I'm like, if I can do what I just did, this part should be different, a little easier, maybe. I don't know. I'm not afraid. I'm not in fear. I don't want to ask permission no more because I'm asking you for help, whoever you are out there. Can you help me, Shiva? Ganesha, can you help me? Well, obviously you need the cosmic control rod to make things work, and that would be me. So it's me. I'm the conduit of the energy. So we are doing it. So I put my hand like this, and I swear I feel the energy going through him, and I feel like I know what's wrong with him. And I start, it was showing up like black spots. I'd close my eyes and scan him. And where everything is bright white, these little black spots shouldn't be there. Once again, I took the wand with one hand, had the other hand out. I was like, let me just see if this would work again. And sutured him up. I felt like I could just walk away now. I'm done. Hey, that was great. Done. He stops diarrheaing. Goes down like he was sleeping like he's never slept, like snoring. I come over, I have a little something to eat. I sit right here. I'm like, man, that was pretty good. I think I could do this. I think I'm doing it. I think the first superpower is going to be healing. I said, they were telling me under the mushrooms it would be flying. They were like, we know you want to fly. You'll be able to do that. Don't worry. And I'm like, what? That's a little too much for me. But healing, that I could deal with, just in case everything's too much fantasy. They're like, you got to stop thinking like that. You don't have to tell everyone, yeah, we're going to fly. You don't have to do any of that. You worry about you, right? You worry about how this affects you. I'm like, well, I want to heal others. I'm healed for others. If I could heal myself and then I could heal others, that would be great. If I could just like roll up and be like, throw a banana or something, you healed. Think that magic coat that weirdo uses, where he just swings it and all the people getting healed by the Holy Spirit or whatever. I said, but like the real version of that, you just healed. You don't need any of the theatrics. And as I started thinking about this, I just closed my eyes and went to sleep in the chair. I was pulled right out of my body, dead. I woke up. I had my foot on one of the boards. It was like 2.5 hours later. Paula was walking around doing stuff. She was doing stuff with the cats. And she's like, "You all right?" And I went, "I'm sorry. I fell asleep. I don't know why I fell asleep. I wasn't tired, and I had to go down." And she goes, "No, you healed Shadow." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yo, he stopped snotting at the nose. He stopped shitting himself. He's passed out. And then you went out." And she's like, "You didn't clear him. You healed him. So there's a difference. When you clear someone, it's like shushing it away. Like, get out of here. You don't belong here. If you choose to transmute something, that's on you, whatever." They're like, "But when you heal someone, it's a healing. You're literally not cleaning and clearing. You're like stitching up and fixing." And I'm going to have to, hold on. What did you think you were doing? Choppa comes in every time, and I can't trust some of these cats. I have to chase them around as soon as I see them because I don't trust them. No, and here comes his brother. He attacked his brother and just sent him out. So do we believe in ourselves? Are we going to believe in it, or are we not? Where are you in this game? Where is your head at? I'm still in 1,000% with reality. I have no problems keeping clean and a beautiful house, a hot wife who treats me right, and good friends and people, a great, mother, cool dad, cats that love me. You got to change and believe in what you are, who you are. Everything else everyone's doing and saying isn't your concern anymore. Who rises and who falls and who's this and who's that. You have to believe in yourself and believe where this is going and where you're standing at in this moment in time. Why are you here? Can you hear anything up here? Do you hear anything here? These are signs. Are you seeing more? Are you aware of things you never noticed, but they're there and you're kind of like concerned about it? These are all signs of awakening. Are you extra sleeping? Are you having trouble digesting certain foods? Are you... Oh, here was one of the things I did. I was closing that thing on my neck, and the energies, I was trying not to talk to any of the darker beings, just out of, I don't want to be slipped a Mickey or something. And I don't want to make a contract with a being that decides to ask me, "Oh yeah, well you said it was cool if I kind of came up with you." I said it would be cool if we could knock the allergies and sickness down, like, to nothing. So since I did that, I've been having massive problems with my allergies, and I think they sprayed us. Everyone I know is sick. That's here. Everyone's sick. We kind of went through something, but didn't feel sick. I had a little problem with breathing ever since I got COVID that first time. Whatever the fuck they gave, it was the worst experience. And it kind of comes and goes now. But ever since this last stretch of the last 2 weeks of the Ascension part, I feel like those of us who are paying attention are deactivating shitty things think it's happening to a lot of us, but if you don't pay attention to it, you still think like, oh my God, you must be so sick. You should see a doctor right now. And it's like, I just sneezed. I don't need a doctor, and I don't need antibiotics yet. Like, let's just hold off just a little bit. So it's where you are, where you stand, how you see yourself in this is what's going to fuel it. I believe it because, wait, Shadow's not in the house. He must be outside. The cat's up and around. He's not. We've already discussed it, right? These are all, I made it through that mushroom experience. And they said, you know, fortune favors the bold, man. Universe rewards bravery. That's real. Would you forget? I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't expecting this. They're like, well, if you can handle this, though, you can handle almost anything, right? And I'm like, yeah, as long as it's not trying to, this is what I kept saying to them. Does it want to eat me or destroy me and do any damage to me tonight? And they were like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, I don't want to eat mushrooms and have to fight reptilians in my living room. Right? It's scary. Like, I'm not afraid of it. I don't want to do that. They're like, no, we don't do that to you. That's you facing your stuff when that kind of shit happens. Like, you have to see some of this stuff. Your involvement, and you just didn't know. So now you know. And I'm like, you're right. They're like, we're not going to keep revisiting that shit. We're trying to close the conduit. We're trying to raise you up in the ascension process and not have you part of the new reset and Agenda 2030. We want you ascending. All this other stuff is nonsense. None of this is important. And I'm like, damn, you're right. You're so... Even the bad ones were so good. I was like, you guys are so good. I'm so thankful for you. Haven't had a problem. Nothing. Creator gets ultimate gratitude up and down. Once again, I'm not a program. I'm a programmer. Right? So what does that mean? That means the programs have a full understanding that when you know that you're the programmer, not to mess with you. They'll test you. Right? I had an angel pull a flaming sword on me and just was like, I said, I'm going to take that thing. What are you going to do with it? He's like, you're not following the programming. I'm like, because I'm a programmer. He was like, oh, makes sense. Gone. Because on this end, I might just be frank, a little chunky and overweight, trying to lose weight, has problems with all kinds of other weird things. And on the other end, I can just look at you and you will not be here anymore. My thought will make you just become a flower because you're a program and I control the program. You don't control it. The program works with me, not against me. It's not like I have to control it. I could live symbiotic with it. If this shit gets out of control, it'll work with me to get it back into balance. As long as you're in balance and have that understanding. People that have done heavy doses of psychedelics understand when I say you feel powerful, the power of source. Like, it's just too much. You almost say, I'm not worthy of this or something. But it's you. So I am worthy of it. It's me. It's literally me. It's like saying, I'm not worthy of myself. That's just bullshit. That's bogus. So I want to be worthy of me. I want the responsibility of me. It's me. I want it. I want all of me, though. I'm the singularity, right? Call it into existence. I'm the number one, and I love you, and I'm here to help. That's the whole point, right? Not to be It's to be powerful, but not to be like, I am powerful over you, right? That's like a Cobra Commander kind of thing to do. You don't do that. You do stuff like, how can I help? Right? That's what we do. Be on full discernment the whole time. The whole time. Don't ever let it down. I even hugged one of these beings. I hugged him. Big and as real as it gets. And he just looked at me. He said, I love you. And I said, you obviously can't be demons if you're saying I love you like this with the lights on. They're like, we can't show you who we are. We're not allowed to. It's like against the rules, but we all know each other. And we love you. Love you. Now it's back to demoning. I got to get back down to my duty, but I'm not going to be affecting you anymore. You're above it. You're beyond it. It's like your source. So I humbly tell you, so are you. And so are we all. Most of us. We're all of source. And some of us are literal creator beings walking around with all these other beings. And you got to be humble about it. You got to step up in your power. If you want this stuff, stop asking for it. Stop saying, can I please do this? Or can I please have that? Or, I'm so good. I deserve it. Yes, you are. And yes, you do. And you are worthy, but stop begging for it. You're not desperate. You're designed to be it. So become it. It's a different state of mind. Feel the abilities. Dig deep into you and pull it out. Ground it in. And let's live. All right. Thank you for listening to my Bitcoin rant. It's only going to help us in the future. We want that 5 acres. You want the compound. You want the fearless family, whatever. Like, where are we getting this money? Right? A little bit investment into your future goes a long way. And spiritual currency, as well as the other story, goes the other way with it. So we just rise and rise. The meek inherit. That's it. You have a bunch of us out there saying this. I gave Ishmael Perez a lot of shit. Oh my goodness. I visited him so many times that he had to put up protection, and I never did anything to him. I just questioned him. I'm like, because he says, I'm from level 13. This is what he says. I'm from like the 13th density, the level. I always say I'm from 15? I'm not from here. I'm from like the 15th. So I appear bigger on the other side, older. I've been around longer. So I confronted him on quite a few things, and he responded to me live once. And now he sounds just like me. And I'm not saying he's biting me, because guess what? I heard a few other people, and we all sound exactly like each other. I listened to this guy, Chris, and I don't know the name of the channel. I'm sorry. I can't promote it right now, but he'll talk, and he's way nicer than me. He's a different guy than I am. And he'll have a picture of Wolverine behind him, a signed Wolverine with the 9.8 or 9.6 behind him, or the Captain America shield, or the Thor hammer. And he'll go, we wake up every day worthy. Everyone sounds like my intro. Listen to my intro again to Fearless. We've heard it a million times. Everyone's saying the exact words of the intro. I think that's Neville Goddard. All that stuff is real. It's happening. We're here. We're all together. We're all putting the pieces together and laying them on the table. No one's forcing you to do anything, but we're all shouting it so you see it, because only you will make the difference in this, right? I need more of you because I'm a fan of you. Because without you, this isn't worth it. It's just me. And I could get stagnant and boring just like everyone else. And I could just be like, hey, how you doing? I haven't spoken to you in 2 weeks. And it's the exact same thing going on. But it's not. It's just I can't talk to most people about my spiritual shit because they look at me like I'm a kook. But you know what? I wear my duster like a Jedi every day. Every day. And I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. Right? And I rock my style. And I'm just it. It's the only way I know how to do it. I present that to you and ask you to take your piece and lay it on the table. Try to fit it in when you're ready to talk, show, teach, learn, whatever. Just ask that you go for it. Don't sell yourself short. You got to stay fearless. And remember, the universe, it rewards bravery. Thank you, everyone. Love all of you. Love you, fam. Oracle Eyes is awesome. I love her so much. Who do we got in here? Yeah, you can put all your funds in gaming tokens. Like, the future is going to be so dope. It's going to be so dope. We have all the cards and we own all the energy. It all belongs to us. It's us. We're on the greatest show in any universe because it's all here. It's all happening right now. Do yourself a service. Love yourself. Get yourself up together. And together we're going to rise and we're going to make it happen. One story at a time, one step at a time, one person at a time. There's no rush. Just make the choice. Once you make the choice, believe in it. Once you believe in it, become it. Remember, your belief becomes the reality. So if you believe that you can do it and you just go and do it, you don't need anyone's permission. You don't need me to say, hey, that's a great idea. The universe has got your back. If you can, hit like, subscribe, share, hit the alert notifications because I'll be doing some random stuff. And I'm going to be doing some more. I love you guys so much. Check out Sons of the Sun. We got a new song coming out. I really want to pump some of these numbers. We got to show support. You know, I had thought about this the other day. Check this out. So X is in here, or he was here earlier. So he's really awesome. And he raps, he does rock, and Weapon X5. He was in here before. So he's from the Fearless group, right? So he's finding a niche in doing what he's doing now. And when I first met all of you, we were all just what we were, right? And now we're years later and we're years into this. And we're like, you got to create to be happy. You got to do all these cool things. And we got to do it, and we got to show each other that we can do it. We don't have to one-up each other. What we wound up doing in the Fearless group is, look, I didn't know this was going to happen, but we have a lot of music artists, a lot of people that do music, right? They branch off. They do quite a few different things. You know, Josh, You the Magician, Josh, the kid that wrote the book, Josh and Jody, they did You the Magician with the bluebird on it. Some of you have that book. It's like, how do you talk to your children about this process? And the book has a pretty cool take on it. It's really nice. Something you read to your kids. A lot of good illustrations and stuff. He's also a punk rock band guy in a group called Chilton. He's in multiple groups, but Chilton's his group. So he has Bill Stevens working on his stuff. You guys don't know who Bill Stevens is in punk rock history. We're talking about dudes from Black Flag and the Descendants and the music group All. These are like groups that put groups on the map, right? and he has them in his group, even though they're like just helping with the music and they play in the studio and stuff. He goes and sees them all the time, right? So he's also in his own thing where he's out promoting and doing music. So I'm like, wow, Josh is a good friend of mine, man. And I see Josh all the time. He's my bestie. Then I meet Kevin, KG, and he's like, yo, man, he works me slow. He worked it slow with me, but was like, yo, I got this idea. It didn't get to work. So now you got me and him doing stuff. So we form Sons of the Suns, right? So I'm like, okay. It takes time to build the music group. And while this is going on, you get higher frequency. Robert's doing, he's doing meditations that are fucking crazy. They're just awesome, right? But he also raps as well and does music, right? But he's doing that. So I'm like, wow, he's doing that. And then we had a few ladies at the time. They were dropping like info bombs. Then we had Stun Vale, which is Ben from the Fearless group. He's like, bro, I want to do a song with you. So me and Ben do a song together called Perfect Balance. Then Kevin's like, yo, we should have Ben on the song. Right? We're going to start getting, now that we're established as a music group officially, we could start bringing people in to work with. Boom, we got another song. Our last song we just put out, Fresh to Death. I'm like, holy shit. So now we have all this music going around. And all these people are becoming like hyper creative, and it's like landing on the table in front of me, and I'm going, whoa, because I'm still not done with having people work with us, and like this is an ongoing thing forever. So we're living it. We're becoming the creation. We're doing what we love, not what we don't want to do, what we want to do, and we're sharing it with the people around us because we're like, look, this is what we know how to do. Like, I don't cut wood, you know what I'm saying? So I can't like cut wood and share it with you. I can make music. I can infuse it with the highest frequency that I can with the guys around me that came out of creating the Fearless Family group itself. Without the Fearless Family, they would not be here making the music with me. I would just maybe be doing something by myself or nothing at all. All right. So then there's the Fearless Show. There's all the different people that are connected, that are out doing different things. We have different shamanic people that listen that don't really talk up much, that I do talk to in the background though. All right. So there's a lot happening. People are helping people. We're sharing it. We're getting creative. We're touching things and making gold with it, right? Lead to gold. That's the creation process. This is what they can't do. And we're doing it when the whole world is falling apart, right? So all we ask is, as we break the system and make this a grassroots movement, like, subscribe, share, check it out, stay local, don't overlook those that are in that creative process like we are. Like, we're here to stay, and we're here to do some really cool stuff in the future. And we're coming out of the Fearless group. I was going to say Fearless Bosom. It's like we created this beautiful woman, and we're coming forth from her, and we're representing it really hardcore. And we all want to be out there sharing it. So if you have anything, we'll share it. And we'd appreciate if you could share the music and let us know what you think. And if you're an artist that wants to work with us, obviously let us know. And there's a few artists that already know that we want to work with them. And then those artists are doing things like creating books, creating their own mantras and meditations, and all different would take an individual where they could shine with their piece of the puzzle. Just remember not to overlook that for things like Adam Sandler and Chris Rock and all that. That's great. But remember, everyone's got to come from here, and we're trying to grassroots this system, right? It's almost like everyone in the world is going, oh, I hate turning on the radio because I can't stand the music that's coming from it. But yet that music's still making money somehow. Nobody looks left or right. And then if you say something like Tom McDonald or Sons of the Sun or this or that, all of a sudden it's like, well, they're not famous. It's like, well, that's not how this works. They're just providing good stuff, right? If it's good, don't you think you should share it? If it's good, right? Enjoy it. Get out there and enjoy it. I love you guys so much. And yeah, Weapon X, there you are, baby. Yeah, I'm with all of yous. I got everyone's back. Sometimes we get into the ruts and we have to fall apart and rebuild. We have to go into the butterfly cocoon, kind of liquefy and then transmogrify and then kind of come out and be like, oh, I'm a superhero today. Well, in the morning I wasn't feeling very superhero, so I tried my best, but I just kind of I woke up, fucked up, had to take a nap and start over again. Hey, you're a human. Enjoy the human experience. All right. If anyone wants to chat or whatever, I'm going to bed now, but I'll be around until the next time I drop some huge ones on you. Anyone that's like hyper religious, please understand that religion has no standing in this whatsoever. I think it's in all the religious texts across the board that you can do all this stuff. And I think maybe we didn't interpret it right or didn't get all the information, but don't judge me, please, based on the information given out tonight, because I wasn't trying to, it's in you. It's your heart. It comes out of you, the Christ or whatever you follow, being the ultimate being of the creator of whatever it is you do. Just go do it. It's awesome, but you don't need all these stipulations like, should I be on my knees and begging and then doing all this and making sacrifices? Not really. I'm already what's going on here. Think about that. All this is here for me. Was sent from the Most High to be here in this experience because of what's going on. And I am of the Most High, just like a piece of that is me as an individual. Take that responsibility and watch what happens. You are the magic. The magic is you. Come through with the force, a source like, whoa. I'll catch you next time on the other side of the pudding. I love you guys. Stay fearless. wearefearless.com and all that good stuff too. I love you. See you next time.